Hello, my friends. Amy with Campbell Creations, and today we are making the Rustic multi-strand bracelets. And again, you're seeing that we are starting this out with a very full bead mat. I almost didn't this time. This time I almost, took things and just thought, well, I'll just bring them in as I'm doing them. But I was like, no, you know what? This way you see, like, all the goodness that we're going to be working with today, and we'll just go through it all, right? So I'm making, I think, see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 multi-strand bracelets, and just know that it is possible that there will be a 6th. Yeah, I had to stop myself. I was telling myself, no, 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 we're not going to have a 3-hour long tutorial today. I need to be efficient. So I'm going to do my best to be efficient, and we are going to have some fun, though. We are absolutely going to have some fun. I'm looking forward to doing all of these bracelets, and we're going to get going. We're going to get going with something fun. So I'm using things from beadboxbargains.com, from Auntie's Beads, from Fire Mountain, from I think from Lima Beads as well. And Amazon. We're just using everything. This is going to be a stash project, and I'm thrilled. So for the first bracelet we're going to be making, this is the first bracelet contents, okay? And I'm wanting to make this a double strand. One strand is going to be using beading wire, and that beading wire that I'm using is Soft Flex Satin Silver color and medium. And then we are going to be filling up this chain. And for time purposes, and and because I couldn't stop playing with my beads the other night, we have lots of options to put on that little chain. So there's that. So let's start with this strand. And so I wanted something that was real, like fall, like something that, I would want to wear to Thanksgiving, for example, because fall design and fall inspired pieces can mean lots of things. And lots of things to lots of different people, actually. But this one, that's what I was thinking about with this one, and I'm pretty excited about it. So I'm trying to not go metal heavy as far as bead caps and such on these bracelets. So that's a struggle for me. Let's see if I'm gonna do well with that or not. Okay, so I have these beautiful little pumpkin beads. I love these guys so much. So I'm bringing those in. We're gonna have some Unakite. We have some check glass, and these check glass little acorns were gifted to me from my friend Angela. And I'm really excited about pulling in that Unakite, but we also have some howlite that I'm bringing in here. And so actually, let's just start with that howlite right in the center. Okay, so what I'm wanting for this strand is in the center, I want there to be a little bit of a pop. And so I'm going to bring in some bead caps for that. Okay, so I do want to bead cap both sides of this howlite rondelle, and I love howlite. I just love me some howlite. And so we're just going to bead cap him. And then I have these little guys. I love them. That bright pop that they give. I'm just a big fan. And so I wanted to pop them on each side. Okay, so it's going to give us this little like in between right here in the middle, right? And those look, I think, so cool together, the way that comes out. And then on each side of that, I want to bring in our pumpkin beads. And with the pumpkin beads on the bottom, I am wanting to have, actually for the whole thing, I think I'm going to do double bead caps for this. Okay, and for those double bead caps, I want to bring in a little bit of antique bronze. Those are my 3mm. I get those from Fire Mountain. They're still sold out. I check all the time. They're still sold out. Okay, but then I'm going to use these, and I'll have these all linked below. And I get these from Amazon. I've used them many times before, and they come in all of those different metal tones, and they're really universal. I just really like them. So I'm going to pop on one of our 3mm antique bronze, and then I'm going to come in with our gold bead cap. and that's going to be at the bottom of this pumpkin bead. Okay, just like that. And then this guy here, I actually should have gotten something. I'm going to want to fill him. See that big old gap that's in there? Let's fill him. Let me grab some of my little delicas here, and I have these in antique bronze, so I'm going to actually bring some of those out. And let's fill that just so that it's not, you know, wishy-washy on that strand. That'll help us out there. So I'm going to get some in there. It'll take a good few for this guy. He's pretty big. Couple more. Yeah, hey, how about that? That'll work. And you see it gives that deep line on the inside of him too, but it keeps him from wanting to wiggle around because I do not want him to wiggle around. But on top, I'm bringing in one of these. And these came in this mix that I got from Amazon forever ago, probably 3 years ago. And, you know, back then it was like, hey, I was going with whatever I could get. And so, you know, I would go through and sort them all myself, you know. But anywho, so on top of this, I'm going to do another one of those little antique bronze. And then I'm going to bring in one of these leaves. I got these from Walmart.com. And I just love them. I love the way they lay. They look super duper cute. And when I pop one of these on, you see the way it's just going to hang out there. Isn't that so cute? Yeah, I really like that. I really like that. And so then I'm going to go ahead and put another one, the other one on the other side. That way we go ahead and get that out of the way with filling it up, and I can get these delicas out of the way. So let me bead bug one side just to make sure we are covered. Okay. And so I'm going to come on this side, do the same thing. So I'm going to bring in one of my 3mm, and then one of my gold. Pop this guy on. And then we're going to fill him up. And I had mentioned in my last tutorial, I really like delicas for filling up these. They work really, really well because they're identical. They're all the exact same. They have really thin walls, so they can go on, you know, whether it's a head pin that you need to, you know, fill something with, or whether it's beading wire. And it can really get into a lot of those smaller holes, the ones that aren't too awful big but still need to be filled. Okay. Ooh, I went a little crazy on that one, didn't I? And we'll take out one more. Okay, that works. And then on top, I'm going to pop in this other gold bead cap. Put a little 3mm antique bronze on top of that. And then our leaf. And isn't that just so cute? Isn't that an adorable centerpiece? I love the center. Okay, so I'll move these delicas aside. I don't know if we're going to need those again, but I sure did dump quite a few out. Okay, so from here, I'm looking to bring in some 3mm gold, and I am wanting for this bracelet, I'm wanting just a little bit of a pop, a little bit of a gold pop, not too much. And you'll see with these that I had made, there's only gold pops on some of them, you know, just on some of them. But I want to bring in one of those acorn beads. And so I'm going to pop on one of the gold. I'm going to have that acorn bead, the point going down towards the center. And I think that's just absolutely adorable. Absolutely adorable. And then on the top of this acorn, I'm not going to put one of these directly. Instead, I'm going to put one going away. That way it fills in that little divot that's sitting on top. So the top of that acorn has that little divot. And so that way it just kind of fills in there. I'm going to come in with one of my Unikite. And this Unikite I got from Beadbox Bargains. And I got it just here recently. let's go ahead and put a little pop on top of him as well, right? And then I want to come in here with one of these guys. And then I'm going to bring in another howlite. And with that howlite, I'm wanting to use these bead caps. So similar to what I did here in the center, I'm wanting to bring in over here towards the end. And I think that's just adorable. And then I'm going to come through and just do another one of these. Okay, so it's just a little series that we have going on. So I'll put one of our unikite on there. But I think with my acorn, I think I want my acorn, instead of going this same direction, I want it to go opposite direction, right? So especially with this, having the bead cap on it in that way, that allows it to also, again, fill in that little divot. Yep, that's what I'm looking for. Yeah, that's cute. That's cute. So cute. So I'm going to do this series here just on the other side. And that's all there is to it for our strand. And then we're going to be filling up that chain. I'm excited to fill up that chain. Kind of got carried away the other night because I thought, you know, what am I looking for in the dangles on this chain? Because I knew I was going to be doing this series because I had to break up all of my bracelets because I had too many going. I had too many that I wanted to do, so I had to break it up between the elegant bracelet. This is one of the elegant ones. Oh, and I just love this bracelet. But I had to break it up between the elegant ones and these more rustic ones because I couldn't do a tutorial with, you know, 11, 12 bracelets. That would be a lot. Okay, then I'll come in here with this guy. Then I'll bead cap our howlite. Love it. I love the richness of the strand, you know, with these deep bronzies that pop through and the gold and that antique bronze. It's just super, super fun. And this is our strand. Just so cute. I think I'm going to go ahead and close this out because I'm going to make our chain match whatever this length is and whatever that need is. Okay, because this is the strand. This is what I want. This is what we've got. So let me go ahead and do that. Ooh, do I want... I got out some gold and some antique bronze. I think I better stick with antique bronze on this. Because for my closures, a lot of my closures I have off to the side because I don't know what I want them to be. Look, I have some extras here, and then I have some other toggles here because for these I'm not quite sure. I didn't know what for sure I was looking for. I just knew what I wanted, you know, the bracelets to be. So we'll see. We'll see what some of those closures are, but for this one I wanted a toggle. So I do have that toggle out for it. Yeah, I like these pliers for this. So I use Beadalon crimp tubes, and they are my favorite. They are super tough stuff, crimp tubes, and that's what allows me to feel oh so good about just crimping up and using my clamshells. so let's make sure we have movement in this by just folding it up here in my hand. Okay, and I'll grab a hold of that crimp tube. Then I'll pull up on that wire just a little bit as I crimp down, just to make sure that we don't have any gaps, but I definitely need that movement. There's a lot going on in the strand and I do not want it to be stick straight. Okay. So fun. So fun. I love him. That is just super cute. Super cute. Okay, so let's talk about this. I brought in some Rolo chain. I really, really like Rolo chain. There's a couple different chains that's my go-to for things like this, but since I'm going to have a lot going on, this is going to be almost a stuffed, chain. So it needs to be something that's a little more sturdy, something that has some thicker little loops so that it hangs well for me. And so I go for Rolo with that. And so the other night I was playing and I just kind of got out of hand, right? So we have lots of options. I don't know if we're going to be utilizing all of these, but we have options. And they're already put together. I did little simple loops on all of these because I just thought it would be easy for connection. And so here's what we have. All sorts of stuff. All sorts of stuff. So I have some leaves that is that unikite leaves, and these are just, straight head pins. And then I have some of these little check glass, and they're just creamy and cute, and I really like those. So I did some of those. I did some that are little charms. So we have some here that's little leaves, and some that are little flowers. And on that one, it looks like I put a little disc at the bottom. Those discs I'll be using in another bracelet as well. And those are, I think it's, what is it? Fossilized jasper, something like that. Yeah, so some of those. And then this is fun. This is fun. I don't know if we're going to use this, but this is just a couple peridot chips here that I put on a ball head pin. I wire wrapped it, and then I bent it on top of a little carnelian pumpkin. And then I put one of my triangle beads on top. Looks like a little pumpkin. Isn't he cute? I couldn't help myself with that one. And then I stacked some bead caps on some. So here's some stacked bead caps. And then at the bottom, I have that beautiful, oh, I love these little discs. Love those little discs. So I made a couple of those. I made some that's just like things and stuff, right? And then, oh yeah, there's this little guy. I forgot I had made him. Cute. These are crimp tubes. Okay, so I just made just different things. And what I do whenever I am filling this, first I want to make sure that I have my strand close to it, okay? And I always cut extra just in case, because it's easier to take away from this than it is to add more. Now with Rolo chain, these are open, so I mean I could connect another one to it, but it's still just a whole lot easier if I'm removing some versus having to add more. So here's the way I do it. First come through and say, okay, here's what I know. I want these guys to be in there. And so I want them to be, considering how many I have, I want them to be evenly distributed throughout. Okay, so I'm gonna go through, okay, I have all of my leaves, and so I want them to be evenly distributed, or pretty evenly distributed. Okay. So I'll connect them all about here. Okay, so I'm going to set these aside, and before I go any further, again, this is my process. I'm sure there's many processes for this, but this is what works well for me. Okay, and so I know that those will be taken care of. Okay, so I'm going to come in because I want to make sure that it's not right here at the end, right? And so I'm going to come in here, open this guy up. I'll pop him on right about there. Make sure I close him all the way. Now I'm going to bring him below these others so that I can see kind of what I'm looking at for my placement. So I'll put 2 on this end, then I'll put 2 on this end, and then I'll work from the center. Okay, so I'm going to come right about this guy. Oops. Okay, so I have 2 on this end. Then I come down here to this end, and I'm looking at about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm going to go round about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, these are magnetized. Not a fan. Okay, so I'm going to want to put him right about here. So now I know we're close to being even with those 2 ends. You know, it doesn't have to be right at, but I'd like it to be close. Okay. So I'll put him about here. Oh, Amy. Oh, I kind of opened him funny, didn't I? And sometimes whenever we're doing dangles, I want to be very purposeful in like which side of the chain I put it on. Okay, with this one I'm not thinking so much because it's going to be pretty full. And I want it to look very organic. I don't want it to be like, you know, super uniform, but my primaries I want to be, you know, spread throughout evenly. So I'm going to come about here. Okay, so now we have all of our little unikite leaves on. Love them. That's pretty even. I like it. Okay, so now I'm going to bring these back. And let's think about, because there's quite a bit going on here. Okay, so here is my charms. Here are my charms. Okay, how many of those do I have? Do I have any others? Am I missing anything? Well, there's that guy. Maybe I'll put him towards the center around, around this. Okay, we have a couple of them that have some caps on them. Okay, so let me bring this back down. And I want those to be about evenly distributed. Okay, so how many we have? 4 of these leaves that I did. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. That works. That works. Not too bad. So let me pop them on. I just want to make sure I don't end up with heavy leaves on this side and none on that side, you know? Okay. Oh, he's just cute. That is just super cute. I may actually want another one of those. We'll see. We'll see. We'll get this filled up and we'll see if I want another one. Usually I don't do even numbers for things like that. I do odd, but then again, I was just playing. I was just playing with my beads. I do that a lot. And I was like, well, I'm just going to keep hold of those and use those in the charm bracelet. Okay, and then these guys are kind of close to each other, so I think I'm going to put this just right on the other side of this. That'll do. Yep. So then we have, what, 2 of these? 1 of these and 2 of these. This maybe I'll have towards the closure. That's just really cute. So yeah. So then these could go. Put this guy here. Put this guy maybe here on the other side of this one. And then I'll have this come right down from the center. And I might have it come down with this. Let me get one of my infinity connections. Actually, I'll be showing you guys how I do these. I really like these, especially when I'm working with charm bracelets or when I'm doing a beaded chain. Okay, this is just an eye head pin that I put in my one-step looper and made a loop on the other direction. And then also, whenever there's that leftover from that eye head pin, I then turn around and make another infinity. But what's cool about this is, in this scenario, right? In this scenario, I can hook on this and this to where they stay together. And then I can connect the other side of this to my chain. That way they dangle like this. So yeah, let's make that about center. Make sure that's good and closed. See, and he hangs down just a little further than the others. Cute, 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 cute. Yeah, I like it. I do. And so, yeah, let's put this guy in here. He needs to fill that gap a little bit. So I'm not going to talk all of this through, okay? I'm going to probably do the rest of these and then, oh no! Okay, I need to redo him. I'm going to keep doing these, and I'll probably fast forward this, kind of speed it along a little bit, do it in a little fast motion. Okay, so I think I'm liking the look of this so far. I think this is where I'm going to stop, actually. I don't want it to be too overwhelming or too heavy, but it looks pretty even. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it looks pretty even, and I like that it kind of goes down here to a point. I like that. Okay, so when we're talking about this connection, okay, this is going to be a little bit longer to make that connection here, right? But it's also going to want to hang a little. It's going to want to have some give to it. So I want this to be a little bit tighter than, you know, what you would think. So let me bring in a couple jump rings, and I want these 4 millimeters, 4 or 5 millimeters here. I think these are 4. Okay, and I'm going to connect these two together, and then from that connection we will then connect to, you know, the toggle or the end or however we're going to do that. Okay, but I want it to be kind of snug. Okay, so I'm going to come down to, I think I'm going to come down to that second one to where it's almost going to look like it's pulling, you know, and if we need to adjust it, we can adjust it, but I always end up having to go tighter. So let's come down, let's go to that third one actually. Let's come come down to this third one. I'm going to connect that here. And you know, you can also connect it up here, but I don't want to put that strain on the wire itself. Okay. Oh, that needs to be closed better. Okay, but I want them to stay close, so I want them to be connected together. And then we can cut off those two little extras, but I'm not going to cut them off yet. Not until I know for sure what we're doing here. Down to that third. And I'm going to make that connection. Okay, again, I'm not going to cut off my extras just yet. Let's make the other connection. It might be cool if we used a ring. That would be cool. Let's see our length first. Let's test that length. Yeah, we're right at 6, so I don't want that to be too much more. I'm not going to use one of those. These are pretty good gauged, right? They're a little thicker. So let's do that. Let's get this connection. And we'll connect it to that toggle from the jump ring that's connecting these two together. Okay, and you see we still have these couple extras. That's okay, I'm leaving those. Okay, and then if we end up needing to come back and do another jump ring for movement on that toggle bar, we'll do it. But I want this to be a simple connection. I don't want it to be too complex, too much going on. I want all of the statement to be in the piece itself. And then we will take a peek at it and see where we are. I keep moving my mat, don't I? I always start out with the bracelet that I know, when I'm doing multiple like this, the one that I know is going to take the longest. Okay, knock that out first. I almost always do that. Okay, so let's see what this looks like on. Good length, good length. I like it, I like it, I like it. The bar goes through there just fine, no issues. And I think we are good. Right? That's so cute. So cute. Cha-cha-cha-cha. I like it, I like it. Now we could come in here and we could put some cha-chas on here. We could put a couple dangles. You know, we could do lots of things at this point. You could even leave, you know, these two here and have your cha-cha or dangle coming off of it. That might be pretty cute. Actually, I might do that with this. You know? I'll leave one. I'll leave one. We'll go ahead and cut off one of them. Okay, so we have this one here. I'll let that act kind of like my jump ring. I still may, because I want him to dangle really good. So, oh, hey, look, I have one open. Nice. Yeah, I'm going to jump ring it and still put it on that extra one that's hanging down there, because that way I know it's going to be visible, because there's so much going on with this. It's going to be hanging down enough to where it's visible, and it's also kind of out of the way a little bit. Okay, so where's my extra? Here's my extra. just a little extra something something on that one side. Then on this side, I'm going to take those 2 extras. I'm going to go ahead and clip them off. And just like that, my friends, we have bracelet number 1. Isn't it cute? Super cute, super cute, super fun, super fall. Love that. Okay, so number 1 is on the books. I have no room. Okay, let me get some of these extras out of here. Okay, I'll move my jump rings. These are some of my extras for little spacers in case I needed them. And then now we can bring down these other items that's here. Okay, I'll bring those down some so that we have room to put our bracelet up here. Cute, cute, cute. Love it. Okay, so which one are we going for next? Let's do this one. Let's do this one. This is fun. This is fun. So what I'm using is I have some check glass here, and look at these. I got these from beadboxbargains.com, and these are awesome. See that? Like the etching that's in them. Oh, so cool. I love those. Then I have a couple of these, and then just one of these guys. Just one. And these links I also got from beadboxbargains.com. I got these links last year. I ordered them 2 different times last year, but they did have them earlier this year. They had more of them I saw. I almost went ahead and got them, but I'm like, no, I think I have quite a few left. And this is also from beadboxbargains.com. This is Elation Jade, and these are the medium-sized tumbled nuggets. Love them. I love the colorway. So it reminds me, in a way, some of these remind me of Mookaite, right? But then it's those greens. Oh, I love that shade of green. Those greens and the pinks and purples that go through here. There is just so much happiness. So much, happiness. Okay, so I have these. I'm bringing in, I have 2 strands plus this, okay? And the wire that I'm using for this one is Soft Flex Medium in that fluorite color. So good, because I'm loving that green. I have 2 of these cut to 7 inches, okay? I'm going to do 2 strands with these tumbled nuggets on them, and I also am bringing in some of my seed beads, and so these I got from beadboxbargains.com this year, and these are like a combination of like a creamy tan color and my dusty rose, and I'm really liking them. And then I have some bronze, and that's about all I have left of those bronze. So I'm going to be pulling those in. And then here, I'm just going to do a little like chain link, right? So I think for these, I'm going to pull in the wire that I had cut. Okay, and what do I have going on here? I use my double flush cutters for this, and look at that little guy right there. So let's take care of him. Maybe I went to cut and then I ended up cutting again. I don't know. But here's what I'm wanting to do. I'm wanting this very simple, okay, and flowy. Right? Not too flowy, but flowy. So I'm just going to come in here with my round nose pliers, and since these are double flush cut, I'm just going to come in here, I'm going to find my little happy spot on my round nose pliers. I'm going to wrap it all the way around to where it touches, and then I'm going to stick that right in there and do a little kickback. Okay. So there's that. Oh, what did I just do? That is just silly of me. That was just silly of me. Okay, so I'm going to do a few of those. So I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 of them. And this is 20 gauge wire. And this wire is in that antiqued bronze color. Okay. will just get them connected. Okay, we're going to be opening up both sides of those anyways, so I just went ahead and I'm not going to worry about, you know, messing with them too much on their closure. Okay, so I'm going to pop each of these on. And I'm not doing bead caps, any additional spacers, nothing. I wanted this to be a very simple little beaded link chain, and I wanted, you know, what I wanted was for the statement to just be the bead itself, you know. So I want these loops to go in the same direction. Okay, so I want them both to be going that way, but opposite. So the opening is here, closest to me. And so I'm going to make this one, oops, the opposite direction. So I'm just going to come in here and bend this down. Okay, I'm going to do that for all these. I'm going to take a peek at where that opening is. I'm going to go towards where that opening is, because then I'm going to be rolling it back opposite. Okay. That one looked a little wonky, but we'll fix it whenever we're opening and closing it to make those connections. There we go. I couldn't tell which way that one was. Okay. So now I'll come in here and trim these guys off. And we'll just roll them up. Isn't that just so cool? I love these ones. I really, really do. I don't know if they still have more, but since I've been, you know, I've had this out and I've been playing with these, and I'm like, I want more of those. I really like these a whole bunch. We'll close these guys up, get them connected to our links, and this whole strand is as simple as this. And it's going to be really statement worthy, I think. I think it's going to be really cute, especially with those tumble nuggets on both sides. Yeah, I think that'll be good stuff. Oh, I got this one a little short. It'll still connect okay. Okay, so now I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to come in here with my bent chain nose, and I want these, I believe, to be, let's see, let's do them like this, to where they're like this, and these two are at either end. This is the center guy, and then these in between. Yeah, let's do that. And it's now that I can make sure that, you know, we're fully closed, we're a-okay, we're good to go on both sides, right? And then since this is the center, I'm wanting both of these connections to be at the base, you know, what looks like the base of this link. That way it's kind of going from the center out on both sides. You know, you don't have to do it that way. That's just what I'm looking for here. So here I'm going to also connect to the base, the stem portion of that link. Okay. And then our bead will spin. These will stay flat, and that's why I wanted those loops going in the same direction, right? Or the same way. So then this is going to be connecting here to this guy. Okay, so we'll do that other side. He's the one that had the littler loop, but he'll be just fine. It'll be just fine. Isn't that so cute? Look at that. Yeah, I really like that. And so then on this side, I'm also going to be connecting from that stem going out. And these links are two-sided, so it doesn't matter, you know, which side. They're two-sided. Okay, I'll go ahead and connect this one to this end. Cute, 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 cute. And so you see you can maneuver your actual bead itself. Okay, so down here, get that connection going. And then this one strand will be done just like that. Easy peasy. And super cute. Can't forget that part. If you wanted to do like infinity links with this to make them a little further separated, you could do that, and you could do little dangles in between them. That would be really cute too. I'm wanting mine to be a little simpler. This one I want to be, you know, quite simple. And so I'm not going to do that, but you could absolutely do that. It'd be cute. Okay. And then let me see, these two, see how these two are kind of wonky from each other? I want them to be the same. So it is, there we go. Now they're right across from each other. This guy could use a little bit extra closing. There we go. Isn't that so cute? Love that, love that. So I think it's going to go really good with these strands. And what I'm looking for with these strands is I'm going to have little spacers that are these 11-0 seed beads. Okay, so let's get some of these out there. See how light those are? Oh, it's like barely, barely pink. I really like that. All right, so let's first start with this guy here in one sec. It's getting a little stuffy in here. I had to take my jacket off. Sorry about that. All right, so we are going to be just stringing this. Okay, so what I'm looking for is I want the bronze to be in between each of them, and then every 3 of these nuggets, I'm going to do a little series with the bronze and this light pink. I think that'll be cool, but not, you know, too much going on. Okay, so I'll put on a bronze, and then I'm just going to grab 3, put a bronze in between them, and I do want to kind of separate out the colors, So I am going to be looking to do a little bit of that. Doesn't have to be too particular, but I do want to separate out the colors. And then after I put 3 of them on, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to go with a pink, a bronze, and a pink. So when they're all squished up here, that's what we're looking at. So it just gives a little bit of something extra every 3. Okay, ooh, look at this color. That is gorgeous. Let's bring some yellow in here. Let me bead bug this so I can grab. That'd be good. We can bring this guy up here. Okay, so let's pop on a yellow. Ooh, let's do a pink one. Then we'll go into that pink, bronze, pink. So cute, so cute. So now let's come right back in. Let's do another yellow. And I'm going to do both of these side strands the same way. Let's get some green action. I actually have some 8mm rounds that are the elation jade that is just the green, and it is such a pretty, pretty color, green. I just really like it. And we'll go pink, bronze, pink. Okay, let's come back in. It's kind of green heavy, so we'll jump another green in there. And then we'll check after I do the next 3, we'll check that length up against our other strand that we have going on there. Okay, how are we looking on our colors here? So I think maybe we need, ooh, look at this guy. Oh my. Okay, I'm gonna put him in the center of these 3. Okay, so let's just go ahead and go another green. The green looks so good in here, and we've got the green, so green. This guy, wow. And then to end it out for this strand, because I want to make sure we still have a good color variation for the other strand, right? So for this one, let's pop on this purple tone. Now, I'm at the end of this, so that means we're getting close to almost 7. I don't want it to be 7, but let's check that. So let's make sure they're all kind of snugged in, right? Okay, let's bring in this and see where we are. Okay, so with this, it looks like the end for this one, because these are all different sizes, right? So it can be a little bit different for each one. And so on this one, looks like maybe we're just an extra bead, but actually maybe not. Maybe not. I'm going to leave this. Okay, I'm going to leave this for right now. And let's go into the next strand. So let's grab another bead bug. Do I have one out here? I thought I had more than one. Yep, I do. Okay. So let's pop on that bronze. Let's get him up here. Look at those two together. It's good. It's good. It's good. It is good. Okay, so let's get some on here. Do a green. Then we'll do our little series. Okay. Ooh, look at this guy. Oh, he's different, so look at that side. And then that side. I'm becoming a big fan of this Lace and Jade. I think it's pretty cool. Ooh, I like that guy. He's another one that has those variation of colors. That's cool. Okay, and on our colors, let's see. We need to come in with a maroon. That'll be good. So we'll do one of those. Pop on another green. Ooh, I like the square one. Okay, and let's pop in a yellow. We're getting close to the end here. Let's do a tiny one because we're close. There's, I think, some bigger nuggets on this one than the other. Oop. Woohoo! Yes, I'm at the tip, tip, tip. Okay. Let me bring this down just a little. Actually, let me pop him off for a sec. I'll put him right back on. Okay, so let's see where we are, because we're really going to have to check since we're using these tumbled nuggets because they're all different sizes. Okay, but some of them, like that guy, could turn a little bit just to be a little more snug up into those seed beads, so that's what I'm checking for here. Okay, so we have this strand. Let's look at the two strands together first and see where we are with our sizing. Yeah, this one's longer. Okay, so we'll definitely either want to swap out a bead, and actually we could do that. Let's take off these two. Let's put on a smaller one here. Let's see what that looks like then with our size. A little closer. Add this here. And again, they're going to vary a little bit. Yeah, that looks pretty close. That looks pretty close, right? Okay, so now let's see how these look up against our strand. So let me put these to the side here. And so we could just put a little extra jump ring at the end here. I don't think I want to do another link at the end. That would be too much. But isn't that so cute together? I just think it's adorable. I think it's super adorable. Okay, so let me get our seed beads out of the way here. Okay. Bring these up. And before I do anything on this with the jump rings, I'm going to go ahead and close off these two strands, just that I know for sure at that time what our length is, and then we'll go from there. So hang tight. I'm going to be right back. I'm going to get these closed up, and then we'll come right back. Okay? Okay, so I put a 4mm jump ring on each of the ends of these, and I have them closed. But in looking at this length now, I do think we would have enough room for one of those links at the end on each side, right? So I think that's what I'm going to do, and then we'll toggle it, okay? And so when I do that, I'm then going to have to stop recording and work. And then on my lunch break, I'll record some more. Okay, so let's do another one of these links at the end of each of these. Normally for work, I'm logged on a good 15 minutes prior to, when we open. But today, I will be logging on just about 5 minutes early. Maybe even closer to start time, and that's not typical for me, but that's okay because I'm excited about this. Okay, so I'm going to do a very little simple toggle here, all right? And I do think I want, actually it might be cool. Let's go ahead and hold off on this, okay? And we'll finish it off whenever I'm on my lunch break, because I'm thinking instead, we'll do one of those little 3-ring connectors. It's the triple to single strand, to where it takes all 3 of these and then goes to 1. I think that's what I'll end up doing, because I'd like these to stay a little bit separate and not so much on top of each other. But those are just adorable. Okay, let's do that. All right, my friends, I'm going to go work for a little bit, and then I'll come back and we'll have my lunch break together. Okay, bye for now. All right, so where I left off, and actually let me start with, when I left off, it was this morning, right before I logged on to work. I'm coming back to my mat at 10 till 10 p.m. Yeah. So I did everything I could today. I ended up, for my lunch hour, I ended up having to get myself ready and also just being with Squirt so that he could get out for a little bit. And then we had a basketball jamboree tonight for Steve's son, which was super exciting. He's a freshman and he's starting varsity for basketball. He did the same thing for football this year. It's super exciting. Anyways, so you get home now. I'm going to make the rest of the bracelets. So when we left off here, I was thinking that I wanted a chandelier connector. Okay, instead of trying to connect these all together, I didn't want them to be on top of each other. I wanted them to have their own space. And so I'm still standing by. I think that is the greatest option, and I think that's what we are going to be doing today. So the only other thing I've done is I made a couple dangles, and I did that earlier. So I was, sitting on a call explaining something to someone, and I look over, and so I just grabbed a couple head pins and grabbed a couple of these nuggets and put those together, and it, helped that call go by. So I don't get to do that very often because usually when I'm on a call as well, I am involved, completely involved. So, but I did make these. I want to make a couple of dangles, so I did that. So let's close this up and let's move on to these other bracelets because I'm excited about them all. They're super cool, super cool. So let's go ahead and get these guys connected. So that's what I'm going to be doing, is using this little chandelier, keeping those strands separate, and I think that'll give this great flow. Great flow. Now, one thing I'm wanting to check on is for these links, because I'm seeing these here. So I want these links to be like this, with all of our connections being, up and down like this. So I might need to actually just make sure that all of these are even, just so that I know this won't get kinked. And it's easier to do it now than it is after it's together, right? Of course. Okay, so there's that one. Let's take a peek at this guy. And oh yeah, he's way off. Okay, and so I'm just going to straighten them up so that they are all going those same directions. Okay, so let's look here now. I don't want to distort it though. Don't do that, Amy. Yeah, I kind of did a little bit with this guy. Okay, so I'll fix that. Oh, this was the one with the little bitty loop. Okay. And so let's see if these guys, they are going the same way now. Okay. These guys look pretty good. Those guys look pretty good. Those guys look pretty good. Okay. We should have better luck now. So let's get these connected. I'm wanting to get to these other bracelets. They're going to be awesome. So since I already have jump rings on all except for our center strand, then I'm going to go ahead and utilize those jump rings. And then we'll just toggle it. We'll pop on those little we'll just top on those little dangles and we'll get her going. Okay, so there's that one. And then let's see what I have here for my sizes. So all I'm needing really is, yeah, I can use these two for this one because it has it already on there for all of the others. So that'll work out. That'll be all right. It's actually a pretty good size. And for this, I'm going to need 2 jump rings. You see? Hold on, I'll show you why. Because, so I'm going to use these baby jump rings, so hold on one sec. The way this jump ring is going to connect, okay, because all of these are going to be flat. I want these flat, so a jump ring going in here is going to go this way. And actually that'll work out. Yeah. That'll work out just fine. I don't know what I was thinking. It's been a long day, that's what I was thinking. Okay, yeah, that'll work out. That'll be just fine. I didn't get him away. Don't go away, little guy. Okay, so I'll have him connected. Then we'll connect this last one. Yeah, this is going to give it great flow. I'm super excited. I love the colorway in this one. This is super, super fun. Constellation Jade is just... The first time I had gotten it was here recently. And I had gotten it on just from Beadbox Bargains. I had ordered it because I saw those little pinks and kind of grays that it looked like going through it, and they were just little bitty faceted baby gemstones. And I was like, these are so cool. I need lots of these in my life. And so then I started looking for them, and Beadbox Bargains had quite a few different types for that. And just so excited. So excited. Okay, if you look over here now, when we connect it in that way, it does look like, because they're going to be laying like this, okay? Will it be? I'm almost thinking that maybe it will end up being longer than I originally thought. Okay. I still need to fix this. These have to go this way, both of them. I just want to make sure that I'm not connecting it on that chandelier finding and then having to deal with it not being on there initially the right way. I don't want to do that. And it's making me want to take off these last two links and just do jump rings with them all. But it really, really should be okay once I get it where it needs to be, because then it's going to be on this. There we go. There we go. That's what we're looking for. That's the ticket. So yeah, you see here? See here? So when they're not kinked up, when they're all the way they're supposed to be, we don't need one here at this end. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with having one at one end and not the other. You know, especially because this is kind of a different type of strand, you know. Okay. So then, hold on. There we go. Okay, Amy got it. Amy got it. Here we go. Here we go. I'm just going to want to be careful as I'm going through these because I don't want to make this kink while I'm connecting it. Anywho, we should be good. We should be good. So let's get this guy gone, connected. Okay, and I had another little jump ring. Let's just grab another one. Okay. So when I'm doing multiple bracelets or multiple of anything, the ones that I think will take the longest, I always do it first, so that the other ones just kind of flow through. So, you know, it's almost like, you know, getting the hardest things done first, that you have the rest of your work is the easy stuff. Well, it's not that these are hard by any means. So I think of it of timing. So the ones that are most time consuming, I like to knock out first. And then the ones that take the smaller amount of time, then they just flow through at that point, you know. So that's what I do. And these other ones that we're going to be doing too are so much fun. So much fun. I'm always looking for something different because, you know, a lot of times I'm making these for me. And I don't want to wear the same style bracelet every time, nor do I want to do a tutorial every time on the same kind of bracelet. Even though sometimes just by mixing up the stones and things, it really changes it. But still, I'm always looking for new, cool, different ways. And I think that's what we're all doing, right? There we go. Okay, so we have that. And then we just have our third. So tomorrow on Saturday, I'm going to hang out with my grandbaby girls tomorrow morning. So this tutorial, it's now Friday night, so this tutorial I will go ahead and get edited, and I'll get it all ready, and I'll release it tomorrow morning, and then I will head off to hang out with my grandbabies. And then on Sunday is the first of the Thanksgivings for, you know, all the Thanksgiving times. Wow, look at this. So here's, right? So good. So good. So anyways, this weekend is the first of Thanksgiving. So it's going to be Thanksgiving on Sunday at Steve's parents. So that'll be fun. And obviously it will be my first holiday there with, you know, his family and he with mine. So that should be fun. That should be fun. I'm looking forward to it. That's for sure. That's for sure. How do we want to hang these dangles? Let's see. Maybe we can use one of our infinity links. I think we're going to need to make some more together anyways. Let's grab a couple of these little jump rings. That way, you know, we can kind of have them hanging at different angles, right? So we'll have two separate dangles. Let's do two separate dangles. So we'll do one that's both of these and one that's like this. Okay. But that way, if we have them at two separate little areas and then we make that connection, I think that would be good. So let's do it this way. I'm going to take this baby one. And I'm going to connect this guy. So I'm going to put that baby jump ring on one of these. And then I'm going to go ahead and connect this one. Oh, hold on, let me close that all the way. This is a real tough stuff ball head pin. Like real tough stuff. It's hard for me to bend it. There we go. So I'm going to grab this one and I'm just going to connect it to this one. Okay. So then, you know, it'll kind of dangle down low. So right now it's all up here up top, but hang tight here. Oh, I can't see. There we go. Okay. So then, if I hold on to this one, see how that hangs down lower. And then from this one, let's go ahead and bring in this little infinity symbol and let's connect it in that way. Okay, so let's open this up. I'm going to connect it to this one here. Okay, so now we have that, and then that will connect here on our bracelet. Okay, so let me go ahead and put this other toggle end on. And we'll pop him right on. We'll pop both of them on. See how we want to do that other one too. Oh, I'm loving the colors in this bracelet. Oh, I'm loving this. I'm super, super excited about it. Yay, look at our bracelet. So fun. So fun, so fun, so fun. Okay, so let's take this one and let's connect this one to a strand or to like one of those areas instead of down here at the end, you know, where it can get caught on a toggle section or something. I mean, we could even connect it directly like this. on our chandelier finding, right? Let's do that for one of them. Oops. That's fun. That's fun. I like that. Let's do the same on the other side, but just like opposite, like right over here. You want to? Okay, so then on this, let's see how I want it to hang. Yeah, that'd be cute if that hung down low. Let's just do the same thing. Let's just do it. Ooh, 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 I just had a thought. Hold on. Let's do something else. Hold on, I'll show you. Okay, so first I'm going to do that first part the same. Okay, so I'm going to grab this. I'm going to maybe pop it on a jump ring. My oh my. Okay, and then I'm going to attach that jump ring to this loop. And then remind me I need to check that loop and make sure it's closed all the way. Okay, so we'll do that. That way it has that little offset. That'll be like a first thing first kind of thing. Okay, so let me look at this. Yeah, that could slide off there. Let's get it the rest of the way. Actually, I think it might be easiest if I just do it like this. There we go, all the way closed. Okay, so then here's what we're looking at. I'm loving that. And then from this side over here, let's do a jump ring instead of an infinity. Or wait. What I was thinking. What about this? What if it comes off like that? Right? So let's do a jump ring. We'll jump ring those together here. That'll be cute. And then that is hanging off. Right? Let Ross in. He's gonna tear the door down. I'm telling you, when that kitty cat is ready to come inside or to go outside, like he's ready right now. Right now. He will just at the door. He does not let up. He does not give pause. He just wants to make sure you know. So, anyways, he's inside now. He's good. That wasn't closed very well. Okay, so over here, we're going to hang this whole thing. That'll be cute. And then finally, we'll be done with this bracelet. So if I come in here, yeah, let's come right down in here. That will be so cute, I think. And I don't think it'll be hanging too much. We'll see, of course. Yeah, hold on. We'll see, of course, but I'm not thinking so right off anyways. I'm just thinking of the cuteness factor. I can't get past the cuteness factor of it. Make sure that's closed all the way, Amy. Okay, so let's look. Oh, that is so cute. Look at that hanging there. That is just adorable. Okay, so let's see where I am with my length. Feels a little big. Feels a little big. I knew when I had to add that extra one. Well, I know a gal that would be mighty happy. Okay, so here's the thing. Here's something to always pay attention to and know. When it comes to your toggles, okay, this isn't going to be my bracelet now. That's okay. That's okay. When it comes to your toggles, whenever you go to make that closure, you want to have plenty of room to where you see how this is kind of interrupted. Well, since it's already too big for me anyways, I'm going to add a second jump ring because we need to have that, spacing, right? If not, then it's always going to end up, almost or wanting to or pretty much being a struggle, and we don't want that for anybody. Nope. So I'm going to open this one just a little bit, and I'm going to pop another jump ring on it. Okay. A little closer up. Oh, these pliers being magnetized, you guys, ugh. I don't know what did it. I don't understand. But it's like each of my tools, one by one, are becoming magnetized. And I don't know what I'm doing wrong. But it's making me kind of crazy. At first it was kind of funny. But now, no, because if I want to grab a jump ring or if it's a little baby bead cap, 4 just snatch right up onto it. I'm like, no. No. Okay, so now let's see how that toggle goes. Way simpler, way easier. Okay, so this is that other bracelet. Look at that. Oh, is that not just gorgeous? So fun, so fun. Love, love, loving this guy. And I love this dangle right over here. Yeah, that one. Love it. Okay, so let's go ahead then and do this one just so this can replace it. Okay, so let's just go ahead and bring this bad boy down. Okay, so bring this and all of these and all of these and these. There's my chain. Okay, and some of this stuff is also just some extras, just in case, because I didn't know, I know what I'm doing, but I didn't know if I wanted to, just in case I wanted to change it up some, I had the option to do so. So then now we will put this bracelet in that spot. And that's just so much fun. Love that guy. Okay. So I am loving this. So this is that Picasso wash with Rosaline. And so it all started with these beads. And to be honest, this all started a year ago. Okay, I'll explain more in a moment. But that Rosaline with that travertine with it is just gorgeous. So I have them like that. I have beads like that are these little cathedral beads. I have these regular crystals, these 6mm rondelles. There's another one of those. I have bead caps, little bell flowers that match the travertine that's on here. Love that. I have some little discs here, and these discs bring out kind of the brightness aspect of it. So all of this is kind of rich and warm tones, almost like fall, right? But then this brings out kind of the rich popness in it. The pop. Okay, so I'm going to pull those in. I have these beautiful hibiscus flowers. I have these beads, and these beads are kind of like that Rosaline color, but then the Picasso that's on it is just barely speckled. Do you see that? Just barely speckled. And what I did for these little links is I put that super light color rose gold crimp tube on each side just to give a little bit of pop in where that's going to be. And then this, I just got these from Beadbox Bargains very recently, and I love this. So I just added just one of these little, he, she discs, one of these little rondelles at the end, and then popped a bead cap just on one side of it, just to give this a little bit of something, okay? I was going for a rustic vibe with these, and so I'm trying not to be bead capping all over the place, even though I love my bead caps, okay? I'm trying to just keep that rustic. So these dangles, the reason why I said this started about a year ago, these dangles have been made for that whole time. Okay, these dangles have been made that whole time. I've had this and this and these and some of these extra beads and some of these bead caps and one of these guys for over a year. And one of my little containers that was like, I want to do a tutorial with including you. Okay, so like a year ago I had done a necklace. It was a little over a year ago. I had done a necklace that was utilizing some of these feathers, right? They kind of look like leaves, but they're feathers. And I had gotten these from Joann's. And I had put together what I wanted for a bracelet to go with that necklace and never got to it. I just never got to it. And so, anyways, I don't know if you want to call it cheating, but, well, it's not really cheating. They were already done, so why am I going to take them apart? I'm not. So what I did was, since they were all just wrapped, that's all they were, right? I went ahead and with these little infinity links, and I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to make some of these. With these infinity links, I just went ahead and connected them together. Okay, so these were already made. I'm just connecting them together for what I'm wanting to do for this bracelet. So I have these guys that I've all connected together with that little infinity link. And then we're going to be utilizing these as well as our feathers and possibly, I don't know, a couple more little things onto this chain. Okay, because what this is going to be is this is going to be a triple strand bracelet, and one of the strands is going to be links. Okay, so we're going to have links as one of the strands. We're going to have this is soft flex medium in turquoise color, cut to 7 inches. Okay, we're going to have one that's a strand, and then one that is kind of the chain with dangles on it, right? Not as many dangles as what's going on up here. Okay, it's going to be a lot more like controlled, I guess you'd say. All right, so that's the plan. Let me show you how I make these infinity links though real quick, because they are super easy, like super easy. So the one-step bloopers that I have all 3 of them, and I love them all, right? This is the one I probably use the most, the 1.5 millimeter, and it's the smallest of the 3. So the 1.5 millimeter, it is the same loophole size as when we get an eye head pin. Okay, so when I get this eye head pin, the size of that is the same size that this makes. Okay, and all I do is I take this and I pop it through here. So if you've never seen a one-step looper, there's a hole in the back here, and that's where that wire can go through if the wire's longer than what this is. I want to make sure that the opening of that is down. So you see here I'm giving ever so slight of a squeeze just that it holds it, because when I leave it all the way open, it can just, kind of go wherever it wants to in here and can be all wonky, and I don't want that. I need that to be structured. So I close it just enough to make it hold for me. Then I'm going to have this loop open at the bottom, and I'm going to scooch this in because I want that loop to be right up against the edge of this part. See that there? What I also want to make sure of is that this head pin is pushed all the way to the back of this tool. Okay, I don't want it like if it's a little bit diagonal where part of it's sticking up or coming out towards you a little bit, then it's not going to make a proper loop. But whenever I have this like this, I go slow. Okay, pop that part out that's been cut, close it nice and easy, and then when I open it back up, either I pop it out that way or I open it partially and I go like that. And it makes this perfect little infinity, just the perfect little thing. And I love these. I had went through a little period of time where I was just an infinity link making fool. Everything was connected with them because really, I need to start doing it more often. It is such an efficient little connection, and it's such a good price. I'm not buying jump rings. I'm not buying any of that. And what happens is, you see this that's left. Okay, so this part that's left on that same little eye head pin, I'm going to grab what's left of this because I utilize it all. I'm going to grab what's left of this and see how wide this is. I always have to do this with my hands. Okay, and I just partially close it just so I can grip it. And I come in here and you see where I have it set to? Actually, you probably can't, so hold on, I'm going to hold it. See where I have it to? This part right here, that connects with this top part, and that's what cuts it. So I'm going just past that. Okay, and I'm making sure I'm all the way up against the back, and this is going to make my first loop. When I get to where it's closing here, see, it gives it just a little bit of a kickback maybe, but I always give it just a little bit of a bend. I want a little more of a kickback. And then that's what we're looking at, right? So we have another loop. So then I'm going to come right back in here with this, and I'm going to have that loop opening at the bottom. And I'm going to come right back in here with my one-step looper. And I'm going to go right up against that edge. And you see here on the size, look, I'm not wasting anything really. I just come back in here and I make the other one. Is that not just perfect? Sometimes he's silly and he just hangs out there, and sometimes he doesn't. So that's the infinity links. I love them. I love them. I love them. And they're so easy, so universal, and they really are kind of a game changer when it comes to these kind of connections. You know, when I'm doing, you know, whether it's earrings or whether it's a bracelet and it has dangles, this is really the way to go. And you see, I mean, from one head pin, we were able to make 2 of these infinity links, and I just love them. Love them. Okay, so anywho, I have infinity links connecting. And so this is going to come together pretty darn quick. Okay, before I do anything with this, I'm going to go ahead and knock out my strand, and I'm going to also knock out my little chain here that I'm doing, my little chain link. And I do want to, I'm pretty sure I want to use my infinity links for each of these because I want there to be spacing. I don't want them to be right on top of each other. I want them to have spacing, have their own kind of pop, if you will. And then, you know, from Beadbox Bargains, I had just gotten some of those squares that match this travertine so perfect in this turquoise color. But I didn't want to use them in the strand because I really wanted that bit of a differential. You know, I'm missing beads. Oh, yep, here. These come with it. These also come with this. Okay. And then I have this guy. He's just like that deep chocolate brown with like that almost mustard yellow travertine wash that goes along the sides of it. There's ever so slightly a tinge of blue on the inside, if you see that there. Yeah, I think I'm going to take these 3 strands and I'm going to take it down to a single, which is this guy, and then connect it with some kind of lobster claw or toggle or something like that. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's knock out this strand. Then we'll go into the chain link or the beaded link, and then we'll go into the chain. So from here, what I'm thinking I'm wanting, again, I don't want to do a bunch of spacers, a bunch of bead caps, nothing like that. However, I do want a little bit of a pop. You know, just a little bit of something. And so for the center part, I'm going to do one of these rosaline beads. And I think I'm going to pop on this kind of Casey gold color with it. Okay, that way it gives us what we are going to have for that bit of a pop is going to primarily be in the center. Okay, for our little center strand, or our center part of our center strand, you know. Okay, and so it's going to give just that little pop there. Not too much going on. I want 3 of these guys on each side. I'm not going to bead cap them, and I'm not going to put any spacers. Does it feel kind of weird? Yep, it feels kind of weird. And when I was designing these things, and even while I'm making them with you, I have to resist the urge to go and grab those bead caps and just at least put them on this center guy, you know, so there's a pop in the center. I just want to really bad, but I'm not. Okay, and so I have some of these little check glass here, and I used some of these in that other bracelet up there. But I'm wanting this just this little bit of a series. I don't want it to be overstated. I don't want it to overwhelm anything. I just wanted there to be a little something, something, you know. So we have that rosaline bead, and then we have our little discs, and then that kind of pulls in the gold that's on those discs. Just a little something, something there. I'm going to go ahead and knock out this side here because there's not much to it. Okay, next what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my barrel bead, my little barrel bead with the rosaline. I'm going to pop it on. And it already looks like it already has its own bead cap, right? Because of that travertine that's on it. Okay, I'm just going to do this on the other side. So a little disc, a little 6mm, and then another disc. Okay, and then I'm going to do this again. So I'm going to do 3 of these. And what about if on these side ones, instead of doing that color, what if I do a bronze? You know, it's just a little bead cap. It's not much, just a little bit. Okay, let's try it. If we don't like it, take it apart and put on the gold one, or take it off and not have any. Ooh, I like that. I like that better than gold. Yeah, that just brings in the depth that kind of filters through here. Yeah, I like that a lot. So let's do another 3 of these on this side. Okay, deal. I like that. Now, let's come in, since this is our center guy here, or else I would just, you know, keep doing what I'm doing. But since this is our center guy that has the gold on it, let's come in here and we're going to do the same thing. So I'm going to do one of our little discs. Here, one of our 6mm, like so. Pop on a barrel bead. Do another one. And am I missing a disc? Yep, here he is. He's hiding out over here with his friends. Okay, and then we're just going to pop these on. So I'm going to do 3 of these. Okay. Pop that rosaline on, and I am definitely doing this antique bronze bead cap. That is seriously, that's really good. I like that better than the gold that's in the center. But I also like there's a difference. There's a difference from the side ones than there is from the center one. I like it. Okay, so put that on here and then just put the last 3. And I think that's all she's going to have going on. Actually, what I might do, one sec. First, let's take a peek. Very simplistic strand, but beautiful. Here, let's double it up and see it in my hand. That's so pretty. Love it. Love it. So we can end this one up. Well, let's hold on until we do our chain, our little links here, and see what those are looking like on sizing, because we may end up adding something here. But what I was thinking is maybe, if anything, and maybe we won't even do this, but if anything, maybe just end it out with one of these little spacers at the end, you know, so it kind of brings it in and tapers it. We'll see. We'll see. But let's get out our infinity links and let's connect these guys here for what we're wanting to do. So here's some of those links. I do know that I want this guy in the center. Okay, so I want him in the center, and maybe we'll do, I don't know, do we want these and then these? Yeah, let's separate out that turquoise. So let's just essentially do this. That's it. This. Let's see what that size looks like. Let's look what that length looks like, and then we'll go from there. So I'm going to open up one side of this and pop it on our little hibiscus flower. Okay, and then I'll grab the other side of that little infinity link and pop him open now and put on our next little link, or bead with the link. Easy, right? And see how it gives a little bit of that distance. This also opens up, if you want to add some little dangles. You know, it opens up that opportunity with that little spacing to put dangles here in the center if you're wanting those. I'm not thinking that's what I want for what I'm looking for this bracelet, but that would be super cute. Really cute. And isn't this just so quick to put these on? It's actually quicker than using jump rings. You know, you can open and close it with one hand. It takes two hands, you know, for the total process, but you're not having to, you know, have two pairs of pliers out, right? So we'll open this one. Pop him on. Grab us another little infinity. Pop that on. Close that up. Open the other side. Put our last link on. And close that up. Now, depending on the length, right? If we wanted just a little bit more length, for example, we could put these at the end for that connection. Okay, but we don't have to. Also, it depends on our length. So here's what we're looking at so far. Looky here. Okay, so once I put clamshells on here, they're going to be pretty even, right? Pretty darn even. At least even enough to work with them, because then we'll have to jump ring for these probably, right? Okay, let's just close that up and then we'll work with this other stuff, but that way this is taken care of. So let's grab a couple of these and a couple of those. Whoa, how about two? Okay, let me bead bug this just so it's nice and safe and secure. And then we'll go ahead and close off this one side. And I do like that. I like that little bronzy pop down there at the base. Slide it all down. Oh, I'll have a nice little piece left on this. I could use that for an earring or something. That'll work. I'll tell you, my friends, I needed this weekend. Woof, it's been a busy week. Busy week just for work, but just really busy. You know, and then I've just felt all week long, I felt like I'm just behind. Like, you know, I'm supposed to be getting more done than I'm getting done, and I'm just not getting it all done. You know, I don't know if that is necessarily the case. Oh, thank you. I hadn't put it down all the way. I needed more movement than that. Now I'm pushing down and crimping it. Okay. Saved. Saved by not squeezing too much yet. But yeah, all week I have felt behind, late, or like I'm forgetting something, I'm missing something. Big time. Oh, I wanted to save that piece. It just flew somewhere. Does that happen to you? Or is it just me? Oh. Okay, so we'll get him closed up. And now we for sure know our length here. Let's see how that length is with this little chain link. Looky, that's not too shabby. It's really, really not too shabby. It's a little bit shy, but we're going to be adding a jump ring. By the time we add a jump ring, they'll match. Okay, yeah, that's good. That's good. Okay, so this chain that I'm wanting, I wanted it to be a dainty chain, okay, but I needed it to have enough hole size to get those little infinity links through without causing it to, like, you know, kink up or hinder that that chain. So let's do this. Let's come here. I'm not going to cut this chain yet, even if it's too long, and yes, it's too long. Okay, I'm not going to cut it yet. Okay, just in case something changes or something happens or whatever the case is, or just a placeholder. Okay, so as of right now, what I'm looking at though is if I make these even, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If I took 7 off of this side and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 off this side, okay, so that'd be a total of 12. That's 12 links longer than this bracelet. Okay, so in that case, I'm going to do 6 and 6. So what I'm going to do for that is I'm going to take a lobster claw clasp, or I can take a little piece of wire, and on the other side I might do a little piece of wire, or I can do a jump ring and I can put a jump ring on it, but it's a different color, right? So it lets us know. I'm going to count down 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm going to hook this. Oh, I just did that, yeah. Okay, instead we're going to use gold jump rings. So what I'm going to do on both sides is on that 7th, I'm going to put this gold jump ring so that I know that's probably where we're going to be cutting, and to not put beads there. And that final one's going to be connected to a jump ring that connects with these, so that's why I'm counting down 7 instead of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and add this to number 7. Yeah, and you know, I could have used that lobster claw clasp, but I would have had to have went and got another one. It was just an extra that was sitting on the side. So I got a couple different closure options because I didn't know for sure what I wanted to do with these, you know. And so I went ahead and laid out a couple options just so I had them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's number 7. So I am not going to include any dangles there. And I'm going to fill this chain as if I am making the connection on the 7th one with the jump rings in to go to something else, whether it's another, like a link, or whether it is a chandelier finding, or whatever the case is. Okay, so this is my section, potentially. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with these. I already have a jump ring on each of these, okay, or else I'd use my infinity, but they came with a jump ring on their chain, and so I think what I essentially did was I just took them all off and left them on the jump ring that they came on. So I have 5 of these. I want these to be evenly distributed, okay, and so I'm going to do one towards each of these ends, one in what feels like about the center, and what I'll probably do, actually, watch what I can do. I'm going to take this loop, or this jump ring, and I'm going to take this jump ring. I'm going to make sure I have center. See this guy right down here? This guy is center. So this is the one that I want to hang my middle feather from. Easy peasy. Round nose pliers. A little different. Okay, so he is our center. So that makes it real nice and easy. So I know I'm not second guessing myself. Okay, so now we have a little leaf, or I'm sorry, a little feather that's hanging from the center of these two areas, from this area to this area. Let's grab another one, and we'll do one right towards those ends, and then we'll just do another one just about center. It'll be easier to determine about where center is at that point. So where that jump ring is, I'm going to come in and I'm going to connect it to N. Okay, so jump ring, skip one, and do the next one. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing on this other side. So I'll come in here where that jump ring is. So there's a jump ring. I'm skipping this one and going to the next one. So at least I know the center and the two ends are even. Okay, if these two that go in the centers here are off by one or two, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I'm good with it. I'm just going to place them. And this looks to be about center. I'm rolling with that. Okay. Yeah, he looks about center. Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay, so this guy, I'm guessing about center. I'm going to bring him in right about here. Deal. So now I know these are all about even. They are either even or about even. Okay. So now I'm going to come in with these dangles. How many do I have? How many sets? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So one maybe uses a dangle because I'm just wanting one of these to come up in between each of these. And then maybe that can be a little extra dangle, right? I like it. I like it. So let's do that. So I'm going to be connecting to it with the other side of that infinity link. Okay, so I'm going to come in here and I'm going to pop that open. And then I'm going to look for the middle between these two guys, just about where I think it is. You know, and I'm thinking it's right about there. And just so we're all clear, I could be wrong. And if I am, that's okay. It's close enough. That looks like it's pretty much just about center to me. Okay, do the same thing with each of these guys. Then we're ready to verify that length, get them connected to our ends, and we are done with this bracelet number 3. Okay, I'd say center is right about here. I'm going to just hold on to the guy next to him. But doesn't this little link work out so well for these dangles? I just think they're spot on. And add the fact that they are super easy, you know, super easy, not costly. You know, you're not going out and buying them. Okay, just one more. It's going to go right here. Poor Squirt today. He didn't get out too awful much. I had to get ready because I had to leave at a specific time or log off and to leave the house at a specific time for this jamboree. And this morning I was recording, so I didn't like go and put myself together and get even partially ready. No, I did not. And so when we got home from this jamboree, yeah, he was totally itching to get out of that cage. Totally itching. And, you know, I can't even really call it a cage. It is an enclosure. It's his own super cool living space. Yes, it has bars, but anyhow, his little place is pretty cool. Grab the one next to it. I'm going to pop it on that one. And you know, friends, I don't think I want anything else added to this chain. You know, I think I just want it to be simple and fun and cute, but not overstated. You know, we already have a chain that is just completely full, and that is oh so fun and absolutely beautiful as well. I think I'm really liking this one just being very simply done. If I did anything else to this, maybe I would do just like a little wrap of maybe preciosas, or maybe a couple little seed beads just to come in between each of these. Very little, very delicate. But I am really not thinking so. I really like that. We can use this guy as a dangle. And so we won't need these. We won't need any of these that doesn't appear. Yeah. We could do this. We could do this as a dangle as well. That'd be cute. We could use one of our infinities with it. That'd be cute. Okay, so we're going to take this and go down to one strand that's going to be on here. So let me check this measuring. See what our measurement is. So let's go by the strand because we're going to have everything try to match that strand. Okay, so we're like right at 5 inches. Okay, that'll work out just right to have that enclosure. Just right. So let me get some wire. Okay, so what I think I'm wanting to do, so I have this guy, I'm getting wire. All of this antique bronze, I'm looking at these little pops that's in here. See? Okay, so as soon as I cut this, I was like, let's look. So one sec. Okay. See, I think it would give that a little bit of pop, right? So if I stick this in, this is 20 gauge. And so kind of like the little pops that it gives here, see how it kind of lightens that up a little bit? Yeah, I think I'm going to go that route. I think I am. Here we go. Let's do it. So let's do a little wrapped loop here. So let me come down a little bit. This is probably what? How long? About 4 inches? Let's look. Yeah, 4 inches. Okay, we probably won't need all that, but it's usually about what I cut when I'm looking to do something like that. So let's come down here and we'll knock out a little wrapped loop. We'll come right up and over here, give that rotation, bring it back, give that little kick back, make sure we have a pretty little round circle. Then come in here with my bent chain nose. I'm going to give a couple wraps here. Give 3. Clip that tail off. Straighten it out a little bit here. And then I'm going to cinch him down in there, just so I know we're not going to have any pokies happening. That'll be good. Little wrap loop. So with this, do we want anything on either side of him? We don't need that much length. You know, we really don't. And I've been working so hard to not do that. What if, no, let's just not. Let's just pop him right on and let that be a statement all on its own. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so I'm going to do a wrap loop on this other side. And we're going to call that easy peasy lemon squeezy, and it is done. Okay, let's come in here and get that up and over, around. Let's straighten that and straighten that. I'll hold on to it here. Give it a few little wraps. That works. Let's come in here and snip him right off. And we'll make sure we don't have any pokies happening with him either. Yeah, and he'll just tuck right on down in there. Okay, so this is what we're looking at for that little link that's going to bring those 3 strands down to 1, but still give it a little something something, right? I still don't know either if I'm going to do a lobster claw or what I'm going to do. But I think we'll probably be good to cut this chain. But now that I'm looking at it, I'm going to leave one more link on there than what I initially thought. And that's why we don't cut it yet. That's why we just don't cut it yet. We're still going to need a little jump ring, right? But like on this side, I want to cut from here up. So I'm going to come in here and cut this. Okay, so we have this. I'm going to go ahead, I will waste this jump ring. I could just, you know, pull it off, but I'm just going to waste it. It'll be fine. Okay, so then on this other side, now let's come in here with this. And with this. And see if this was down here at the end, right about where that is. Yeah. I only want to cut off from this guy down. So on this one, 1, 2, 3, I'm cutting off 5. So it gives us 1 extra than initially thought was going to be happening here. Okay, so let's cut that off. Okay, then we'll go ahead and waste out this jump ring too. It'll be fine. It'll be just fine. And then we'll use a proper jump ring or that infinity to make that connection. There we go. So let's do a little cleanup. All right. So what I'm thinking is instead of this chain being connected separately, what I'm thinking is the jump ring that I'm going to grab a hold of this clamshell connector with, I'm going to use that same jump ring and it's going to connect this chain to our strand. Okay, so these two are going to be connected. And then this will be kind of the extra guy that, you know, this two together will connect, they'll connect to whatever's happening here on the side. Okay, which one of those things that's happening is that guy. So let's do that. I think that's the route that I want to go for that. So let's open up this jump ring. Come in here with this last link. Ooh, that last link's a little open. Let's try to pinch him together. Okay, he's back together. Okay, so let's grab that end. connect it with our strand end. And then for right now, we'll close this off. Okay, so then we're coming down to the other side. I'm gonna grab another jump ring. Do I have one that was that size? Which one was this? 5mm. Nope. So one sec. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that's the size. Yep. But let's see if we want to explore this option. Let's just see. Okay, so let's explore this thought, okay? And if not, you know, I'll undo it and we'll do antique bronze. But on this side, I'm going to still use that antique bronze to connect these two strands together. That way you kind of don't notice that they're connected together in that way. They just look like they're kind of, you know, already like that, if you will. Okay, so let me come down here to my end. Oh, it's just a little video end. Okay, and so let's grab this 5mm. Let's grab that last little chain link. Okay, we'll connect that to our clamshell connector. That way these two links are connected. These two strands are connected. Okay, and I think that's going to be cool. That's going to be easy peasy. I do like that. Okay, these two together. Then we have this guy. So when we're connecting these, I definitely want a jump ring on each of these ends right here. But I'm thinking I want something just a little bit bigger that connects this to our little dragonfly. And then I can just use this to connect here from the other side, right? That's all it needs to be, you know. Or we could make it more mixed and put like an antique bronze toggle at the end of this. That would work too. Let's look. Let's see what we think. Okay. So it's going to come down to, do I have any bigger rose gold jump rings? No. I'm going to connect all of these guys together using the antique bronze. Okay, so I'm going to stick with that. I'm going to stick with that. I'm going to keep these bigger ones here. So yeah, these two bigger ones here will connect those two together. But I think what I'm going to do is pop on a little infinity one here. I think that's going to be the right link that I'm looking for anyways. That'll be just about the same as a jump ring, but maybe it'll give a little bit of something something. Okay, so I'll pop one on this other side as well. So then our link should be just about the same now. Just about the same. So from this point, we'll grab one of our bigger antique bronze. Let's grab a hold of this jump ring. Let's grab a hold of this infinity symbol. And then this is how we're going to connect all three of those together. Right? Not too shabby. They'll kind of want to go over each other just a little bit here. That part's okay. I think it's going to look cool actually. So we'll look at it and see. And then maybe if I change my mind, then switch it up. It'd be all right. Okay, so we have those connected. And then let's do the same down here on this other side. Okay, so from here I'm going to grab that. then let me see how this wants to naturally lay. So I'm going to grab it the way it naturally wants to lay, but then I'm magnetized and it changes things. I'm telling you. So I heard that if it's magnetized and you don't want it to be magnetized, that you can put it on like a heavy duty magnet and it will kind of remove that. I tried it. It doesn't remove it. It doesn't remove it. That is so cute. Looky here. Right? I have a thought though. No, I don't think I even need to do that. I was thinking about connecting those two in the center somehow. And I don't even care if they're on top of each other, actually. I think it's just cute. You know? So let's try this out. So if I come here with the rose gold, okay, I want the smallest of these two loops if there's a difference. I don't know, but I want them to be definitely even. Or like, yeah, I want them to be facing the same. Yeah, this one up here is just a little bit smaller. Not by much. So I'm going to connect here. And I like that too because the way the dragonfly is going. And then I'm going to come here to this jump ring. I'm going to make sure that first all of those are on each side. Yep, those are on each side. And I'm going to connect this jump ring to that jump ring. And then let's take a peek at it and see what we think about the look of it. Yeah, look at the pop. I like it. I do. Moment of truth, what I haven't been doing. How long is this? Oh, it's just over 6. This should fit me. I bet this fits me. Okay, so let's take this end here. Okay. So we have this here. I'm just keeping a hold of that right there. And let's connect our lobster claw clasp. And then let's test it out before we put the dangles on. Okay, so let's pop this on, put him on. So all the initial connections are those antique bronze. Our outside connections kind of turn into that light rose gold that matches the little bit of pops that's on the inside of that bracelet. Okay. Oh, this is fun. This is just fun. This is fun. Looky here at this bracelet. Hold on. Looky here at that. So let's see. Let's see what we think. Oh, that's going to be fun. Oh, that's going to be fun. Oh, and look. Yes. Look. It's like perfect. That's so fun. Okay, that's cool. I like it. It's kind of whimsical, you know, kind of dainty a little bit. That's fun. Okay. So let's add a couple little dangles. Then we'll be good. Okay, so what I'm going to be adding is, let's pop this infinity onto one of our rose gold. So look at that antique bronze with the rose gold with it. That's fun. Fun. Okay, I'm going to connect that to this center jump ring here. Okay, so we have that hanging off there like so. And then I wanted to connect this guy. So why don't I do this on this guy? Let's connect him to an infinity. Okay. And then, I actually, you know, these, oh, I have little crystals too. Let me think. No, I like the rusticness of it. I do. Okay. So if I came in here, grabbed another one of those ball head pins. So the ball head pins that I used were these. And when I was saying that they're tough stuff, like, they are tough stuff. Okay, so let's do this. Let me lay a couple of these out. And let's do this. Let's pop one of these on, and let's use one of our delicas. Okay. We'll just do a few of these. Right? Think that'll look cute? I do too. Okay, so let's do a simple loop on top of this. Little bitty loop. Oh. Okay. I just want him to dangle on the front of that. So I'm going to open that jump ring. And I'm going to pop it on the jump ring. That way it just lays right there in front of our little feather. Like it. Okay, so we'll set these aside. Oops. Okay, and so now we are going to have bracelet number 3. Let's pop this bad boy on there. And I think I want him to go, stay that antique bronze. I think I'm going to pop him down here on this jump ring. Yeah, right? So cute. Fun. And I'm really glad that I decided to try out that rose gold. He's a spinner. Oh, that is just so fun. That is just so fun. Look at that bracelet. Okay, so let's set this stuff aside. Okay, let's move these because we're down to 2 more bracelets. 2. Oh, these are so fun too. These 2 are super easy and fun. Just good stuff. And I love our little dangle. Okay, all right. So let's go in with, let's do this one. Okay, so let me get my strands out. I have strands for this. And also I have 1 strand because they're going to be 2 identical. I have one of those side strands already made. Okay, just to help us on timing because I knew it would probably be one of the bracelets towards the end and that I'd probably have spent some time on the other bracelets, you know, anyways. So, yeah. Okay, so what I'm using for this is, for the 2 outer strands, I'm using Soft Flex Satin Silver and Fine. For the focal strand, I am using Satin Silver color Soft Flex and Medium. Okay, and so let's bring this stuff down. I'm going to have some bead frames, fun. A couple of our little charms here, right? And some pinch beads. And I get almost all of my pinch beads. I think I did get all of my pinch beads from Auntie's Beads. Okay, so these ones are that, you know, bronzy. It's like almost same colors as this other bracelet that I'm doing too, but just so cute. Love them. and those are little like 4 millimeters. And then our little discs. And actually, I can't say, I don't know. These look like, and I think these are, because I have some 6 millimeter rounds in that fossilized or that fossil jasper. But Riverstone also looks very similar to this. I know it's not howlite. I know it's not magnesite. And so, but it is a gemstone. I just don't know for sure what it is. But it's one of the two of those. I know it's not check glass. So anyways, we're going to be pulling those in. I have here, I have some little crimp tubes, some little gold crimp tubes, and I have little baby faceted 3 millimeter gemstones. And I don't know for sure, I'm thinking they're carnelian. I got these gemstones on a strand that had multi-gemstones that were faceted from the KC Gem Show. And I did leave them on their strand, right? So here, hold on. It's like, here's the remainder of one of those strands. So it's like some peridot, this looks like garnet, and then it comes down to this color that I'm using. So this color that I'm using, it's either the hessonite garnet or it is carnelian, but we know that's garnet up there. Down here, it's a pink or it's an orange strand, so it's altering the color of those clear ones, but there's some gray ones, clear ones, and then that peridot. Okay, so I just pulled out some of those orangey ones. So I'm thinking that's carnelian. Could be hessonite garnet, we'll see. Doesn't matter. Either way, they're cool, they're cute, we're using them. All right, and then I brought in these little spacers. I love these daisy spacers that I have. They are teeny tiny, and these are vintage. I will never be able to get more, but I do have a bag that's probably about that full, still just chock full of these bad boys. I bought every single thing they had because I love them, and we're pulling those in. You could use little seed beads in place of this, okay? Or you could use some bronze, little like delicas. Use those delicas. Oh, and then I have these too. I'm only using a few of these. These are those faceted hematite that are plated. And these come from a local bead shop in Arizona. They do not have an online store, so I cannot order any more of them. I can't refer it, none of that stuff. But I really wanted to use those in this. I think it's going to be a great contrast to our antique bronze window or frames, bead frames. And these I got from Auntie's, these bead frames. Okay, so let's come in. Let's do our focal strand, and then I'll do that side strand, and then I'll bring in the other side strand that I made. So these are all cut to 7 inches. Okay, 7. I'm not going to work from the center because I know exactly what I'm looking for. So I am going to bead bug this side of it, and before I get to that center, I'm going to do just a little series, okay? And series that I'm looking for in this is, first I'm going to start out with a crimp bead, one of our spacers, and a crimp bead. It's going to make it look almost like a little saucer. Just super cute. I thought it would be super cute there at the end. From there, we're going to come in with one of the pinch beads. Okay, so we're going to do a pinch bead. And then on the other side of the pinch bead, we're going to do another crimp tube. Okay, and then I'm going to do spacer, disc, spacer, like this. So that's how we're starting out here. And then I'm going to do crimp tube on each side of our pinch bead. Okay, so there's where we're at. And then now I'm going to bring in these. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is just a little bitty series here before I bring in the bead frame. And so on that series, what I'm looking at for is the same series that I'm going to be doing in between each of these 3 bead frames that are going to be the focal of this bracelet. All right, and so it's going to be similar to this. Okay, so I'm going to come in and I'm going to do a spacer, daisy spacer, one of our disc beads, and a daisy spacer. And actually, I just changed my mind. I'm going to do a daisy spacer. I'm going to do one of these little gems. And to say I changed my mind, I don't think I just changed my mind. I think I just realized I was wrong. Okay. So I'm going to do these here. Look at that sparkle there. Then I'm going to pop on one of these guys. Okay. And then I'm going to do another one of these on the other side. So I'm going to do, again, one of our daisy spacers, one of these little gemstones, and this medium soft flex just fits in there, but it fits in there. And then another one of our daisy spacers. Okay, from there I'm going to do a crimp bead, and then we are going into our frame. With the frames, what I'm looking for is in each of these three frames, I want this to be in the center of that one. And then on these sides, I want the two leaves with the bottom of the leaf facing towards the center. Okay, something like that. And then I'm going to put these on the inside. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to come in here. I'm going to put it through the bottom of that window bead. Okay, I'm going to do one of these little spacers. I'm going to pop on a relief and a spacer. Okay, I'm going to let it settle down in there so you see where it's at right now in there. Okay, it's just going to fit it almost just right. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep a hold of it. Okay, I'm going to pull this down, pull this down, pull this down. Let me come a little closer. Pull this down. And then right when it clears, I'm going to pop it through. And that's what it's going to look like in there. Isn't that so cute? I love it. Love it. So I'm going to do a crimp tube. And then I'm going to do this kind of same series. So I'm going to do a little daisy spacer. I'm going to do one of our little gemstones, faceted gemstones. Come on down there, buddy. Woohoo. Okay, let me find that hole. He's just a little bitty. There it is. Pop that in. Okay. Then I'll do another one of these. I'll come in with one of our discs and then come right back into that same series. So daisy spacer. Little baby gemstone. I see the hole right there. Daisy spacer. And then crimp tube. Okay, here's where we are. I'll come in with one of the bead frames. Bring it up and out so it's in that bottom hole and then up and out. I'm going to bring in one of our little faceted hematite, our pretty flower bead, and another faceted hematite. I'm going to let those fall into that bead frame. Okay. Then I'm going to hold on to it. I'm going to pull this down, and then right when we get close to clearing, there we go, clear and pop it up through. Isn't that going to be so cute? Oh yeah, I'm liking it a lot. Okay, so another crimp tube. Same little series. Okay, so we'll do daisy spacer, little gemstone. I see it, your hole, it was right there. Woof. Here's this one. There we go. Okay, another daisy spacer, one of our discs, back to our daisy spacer, another one of these guys, come on, okay, oh here's one, I see the hole, there's that one. They're worth fiddling over, Trust me, they're so cool. And then I'm going to come in and do the same thing here. So I'm going to come up through that bead frame, bring my wire outside of it, one of our little hematite, the bottom part's going towards the center, another hematite, let it all fall down in there. Okay, hold on to it and pull that strand. Push it right back up through. So look at that focal. That's so cute. Oh, so cute. So cute. Not overdone. Kind of dainty, but also rustic. And the vibe that I'm looking for in this. Okay. So now once we have these three on, I'm going to do the same series that's done right here. Okay. So it's going to start with what's here in the center, right? So I already put a little crimp tube there. We're going to do that daisy spacer, little faceted gemstone. When I find the hole, let's see here. There we go. Oh, will he go on there? If not, I can grab another one off that strand. Let's see. I have a kitty cat hair though. Come on. There it is. There we go. Yeah, it goes. Woo! Okay, another one of these. We'll do that disc. And then, again, daisy spacer. The last of our little gemstones. Oops. Oh, it's right there. Ah! Oh, why am I not seeing that hole now? Oh, it's right there. Got it. Got it. Last one, and I got it. Okay, and then one of these. So from there, we put a little crimp tube on. Then we're doing just these last little sections. So crimp tube, pinch bead, crimp tube. And then we're doing daisy spacer directly into this disc and another daisy spacer. Another crimp tube, pinch bead, crimp tube, and then we're ending this out with one of our daisy spacers and a crimp tube at the end. Okay, so this is our focal strand. So what's the length? 5 3/4. Perfect. Perfect. Side strand is as easy as they get. As easy as they get, okay? And I already have one made, all right? So here's what we're going to do. We are going to first do a little crimp bead, okay? So we're going to do a crimp bead, and then we're going to do one of our little daisy spacers. Okay, and then let me bead bug the end of this. Okay, so crimp tube, daisy spacer. And then we're going into pinch bead, another daisy spacer, disc in the center, another daisy spacer, pinch bead, daisy spacer. Okay, so it's daisy spacer on each side of the pinch bead with a disc then that goes in between and separates each of those out. And this is what I'm doing the entirety of the strand. So I'll probably fast forward. We'll go right quick with this. Okay, so let's look at our length now. And it looks like now, actually here, if I just do a spacer, like a crimp tube, daisy, spacer, and a crimp tube, that actually works. So crimp, daisy, and actually on this one, oh, I was looking at the other one. Silly Willy. Instead, we're going to do daisy followed by crimp. Now let's look. This one needs to be tighter. Yeah, those are right on. Okay, so I already have one made here too. Looks like it might be just a little bit different though. Right? Yep, I don't have a daisy spacer at the end. Okay, so I need to add a daisy for these. That works. I can do that. Okay, and then what I'm going to do here is I am going to get these closed up. Okay, get these closed up. I'm probably going to jump ring the closure, and then we're going to come back here. We're going to finish out closing up this fourth bracelet, and then we are going to knock out the fifth, the final, the fun, extra fun, super cool, different. Love this one. Okay, but look at that. Yes, I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, so this is what we're looking at, and I'm loving this. Absolutely loving this so much. So I think what I'm going to do is I have some of these 10mm jump rings, and they're the twisted, kind of antique bronze twisted. I think I'm going to connect all three of these to one of those and connect that to our toggle. That's what I think I'm going to roll with. So let's do that. So let's come in here, open that up. We'll put each of these on. Let's see. Oh yeah, I think that'll be super cute. Good, 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 good stuff. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and knock out our toggle, get it on there too. Ooh, these are pretty tough. Make sure it's good and closed. Yeah, and when these are closed, look, you can barely see that it's not a link ring, it's actually a jump ring. Just barely. Okay, so let's do this other side. Yeah, I think that'll be cute. Yeah, there's the opening. Okay, so I'll come in here and grab that one. Come in through here and grab that one. And I'm grabbing in this way because that's the way they want to be. So if I grab them and put them on about the way they're wanting to be anyhow, then it's better of a chance that they won't want to kind of kink in on themselves through that clamshell. So yeah, looky here. So good. All right, so we'll close this one up, and then we're going on to our fifth and final bracelet. So cute. Okay. So let's test out the size of this. Fingers crossed, because I really want this to be mine. I love that. I love that. I love the simplicity of it. I love the fluidity of it. And it's just right. Oh, it's just right. It's just right. Okay, hold on. Yep. So if that toggle is inside there, like so, looky. So adorable. Love this bracelet. Love that. I'm so happy for me with my new bracelet. Mm-hmm. So good. Yeah, so, so good. Okay, love that. Okay, so let's move this stuff down. Let's knock out this last bracelet. I guess let's talk about it first. Okay, and then I'm going to set this bracelet in the place of where this was. So let's just slide it all down. Let's just get it all down. See some fun stuff in there? Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. All right, so here's that. Okay, so here's what you didn't know when I had my last bead haul. Okay, well, these are from my last bead haul from Beadbox Bargains. Love those guys. Just love those little hearts. These are from the bead haul the time before. Okay, so hold on. Yeah, okay. All right, all right, all right. And then these are from my last bead haul. These have a little bit of heft to them. They're little links. And I got these because I thought they went so well with, or they would go so well with, these little links that came in the companion bundle for sweater weather. Right? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And this also came in the companion bundle for sweater weather. So if you're looking at all of these together, just so good. So good. I had to go with it. Had to. Okay, so I'm pulling in some of these beautiful little starbursts. Okay, these were in my stash. Love those. I'm pulling in a couple of these leaf beads. So they have like the little bit of orange that goes through them, but it's also that gray fleck and the gold, which is so similar to this. Mm-hmm. Okay, and then we have these guys. We have these little spacers. These also came from Beadbox Bargains, and we got these recently in silver, but I love these in this antique bronze. They're just right. They're just right. They have just the right amount of heft to them. They're just so fun, so good, so right. And then what else I'm pulling in is I'm pulling in these two little flower beads that I thought just complemented those so well. Like, look. Love them. Love them. So I'm pulling in two of those. And then these beads here. These, I have a bunch of these. I got these from Auntie's Beads last year. Okay, I have them in the 6mm size, and I also have them in 8mm size. And the drill hole goes diagonal. Okay, so these are diagonal. But look at the bumpy on them. Are they not so fun? Just so rustic and fun and cool. So I had to bring those in on this mix. And then I have some of these little cubes, these little check glass cubes. Pulling those in. And then these little wavies, these little wavy cubes. I got these also from Auntie's Beads, and I love them. I love them. So here, if you look at them from this side, they're a little wavy. I just really like those. So we're going to pull those in as well. What I'm looking to do, I have some infinity links here, and two of them are bigger than the others. Okay, so two of them I used just the wire, and I used my 2.25mm one-step looper instead of the 1.5. Okay, and so what I'm wanting to do is I want two strands, okay, two strands made, and then in the center I want them to be these connections. And I'm going to start out with that connection, okay, because I want to know what the length is going to be because I haven't fully done it yet. Okay, so let's move these other little infinities. We may have to make some more of those. So I want this to be in the center of the bracelet, center of the focal strand in the bracelet. And I want these two sides to connect to the hearts, like so. Okay. In between the hearts, I'm wanting probably, I don't know if it's going to be in this order, but something like this. In between them, I want these guys. Okay, so those are going to be our links that go in between this strand. And then we'll have two strands with wire on the side. And then the two strands with wire, what I'm going to be pulling in for that is Soft Flex Bone Color in medium. I have these cut to lucky old 7 inches a piece. Okay. So I have those two. I'm going to set those aside. Let's talk about all this goodness. So what I'm wanting to do here is I'm going to probably just take one of these if it's long enough. If not, I'll make some. Yeah, it should be long enough, right? And then I'm just going to put a loop on the other side. Okay, so I'm going to have this in here, make a loop on the other side, and that loop is going to be our connection to our focal, to our center little bead here, our little link, if you will. Okay, so I think I'm going to do that. I don't think I want anything on each side of this. Do I? Do I? Let's peek at something, because I look up and these delicas are just sitting here staring at me like, hey, you know, we're just sitting here doing nothing. That would give me maybe the spacing I would need to help with that connection, so that connection stays fluid and doesn't get kinked up. That might be good. So let me see. Yeah, and you see it kind of fills in that divot too at the top of the heart. All right, that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. And shoot, I had gotten those out simply to fill those pumpkins. Glad I got out too many. Okay, so let's do that. Let's do that, and we'll do that with each of these too. We'll put a little delica on each side of them. I think that'll be cool. We'll just knock that out. Okay, so here I'm wanting all of my loops to go the same direction. Okay, so I'm wanting them both to go like this, and what I'm doing is I'm looking at my opening. My opening is closest to me, and that's the way I typically want it, is that opening to be close to me, because then when I do my standard loop up here, I'm going back and bringing that towards me too. Actually, I backwards, sorry. I want that to be away from me. Oh, have I said it's been kind of a long day? Okay, I want that opening to be going away from me, because then I'm going to be bending that way and bringing it back this way. So one opening's on one side, one opening's on the other side. It's just going to help with that security a little bit. So that's what I'm looking for, and I'm going to be doing this for all of these little pieces, and then we'll see in what order we want to make them. Okay, so I've got that good. Let's come in here with my little bent chain nose. Let's put our bend in here. And I think actually that's going to be like a perfect size for my loops. Let me look. That's like my loop size. That's so good. Like, watch, I'm not going to make any cuts. And I'm just going to come in here with my loop. That works out oh so well. Looky there. Yeah. You know, I could say that I'm super cool and that I planned all that, but, you know, I'm not super cool. We know I'm not super cool, and I did not plan that. But I'm happy about it. Happy about it. So let's go ahead and pop on a delica here. Let's put our little heart on. Pop on another delica. And then I'm looking at my opening. I want my opening to be away from me. Then I'm going to come in here and put that little bend. And because it's oh so perfect in size, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. And then this final bracelet's going to come together real quick once we get these little links done. And oh, the statement I think it's going to have. It's going to be just a little bit different. Pretty cool, I think. We'll see. Okay, so there's those. So then let's come in and do these guys. Okay, so I'll set that to the side. And we are going to do that little delica. Okay, but for these I'll do an assembly line. Okay, so I'm going to come into this one again, pop on that delica, put on that leaf, and give ourselves another little delica. And we'll do these little sunbursts. Delica. Ooh, these might be a little bit longer. Actually, I think they'll be okay. They're about as long as the hearts. And delica. There's that. And then finally we'll do these cute little flowers. Okay, and then I'll just need one more of these. And then we'll just do that same little thing. Put that on there. Get us a little delica on there. And we have us a nice little assembly line going, don't we? for me, a lot of times that just makes it go really speedy. Okay, so all of those are set. So now let's go through and get them knocked out. So I'm not going to talk about it each time again, but what I'm looking for is the loops are going to go the same direction. The opening for the loop that's already there is going to be going away from me. Okay, I come in here and bend that away from me. I'm going to check my sizing here. Trim off what needs to be trimmed off. Woohoo! Make some noise. And then wrap him up. Make sure he's straight. And while we're here, we're just going to make sure that we are going in the same direction, right? If we're not, if you're not going the same direction, come in here with your other pliers. Just help cinch yourself up a little bit. But you want them to be going the same direction so that we have that fluid connectivity. Okay, so they're connected together nicely. Nothing's going to want to kink up and be all silly and wonky. All right, I'll probably, actually while I finish these out, I'll let you guys watch me, but I'll speed this along. I'll make it a little bit in fast motion. Okay, and then we'll come back here and we'll get them all connected. All right. Okay, my friends, here we go. We have all of those connected here. All of these are not connected. They are put together. We're going to get them connected. And then you're going to see the fun of how I'm thinking about doing this. I'm pretty excited about it, actually. It's a little different for me. And I like that. I like that. So what I'm thinking as far as how this is going to be laid out is I know I want the two hearts to be on each side of this cutesy little link. Okay, and then these, since they both have kind of that gray hue to them, this does have some orange that pops through it, which is super cute, but they have that kind of that gray tone to them. I think I'm going to do kind of an every other. So this one here, okay, so we have this, and actually maybe it'll be this way. Nope, this way. Okay, and then we'll do this beautiful topazy with gold flower, and then we'll put our burst after that. Okay, so that way it's more of the, topazy, and then more of the little bit of gray and antique looking, and then topazy, and then gray antique looking. And in between, we're going to have these guys. Okay. My question is, do I want to connect them with infinity links? Do I? Maybe I will, for these, I will get these connected like this, like directly on here, and see how they look, how they feel, how they flow, and then can go from there. I do think for these, however, it might be pretty important to do an infinity link, and that's one of the reasons why I'd gotten out two of these bigger ones. Or I had made two of those bigger ones. But let's see. Let's go through this. Work this out with me, okay? I know that for the size of this, because it has a little bit of thickness to it, I know that if I connected this directly to it, I would not have movement. It would want to kink up on itself. And that's why I thought we should bring in these infinities here. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Let's get that done. So let's open up our infinity link. Let's pop on our little heart. Close it up. On the other side, we're going to open that up, and we will get it connected to this guy. Now, here's where the question comes in. Yeah, see, it'll be okay, because you see what's going to happen here is that infinity link needs to be like this. Okay, so that connection needs to be like this. If not, it's going to be like weird and wonky, and we don't want that. So that'll be good. I wanted to make sure it wouldn't be too thick. That width for it wouldn't make it, look weird and off kilter and like setting up off your wrist. I don't think so at all. I really, really don't. Let's go ahead and do that other heart. Okay, and then we'll come in here. And then we'll connect this one to that center. That 2.25 works out perfect for this. It's like perfect. It's going to have some movement to it, but it's not overly big. Let me get this connection down here a little bit better. Give it a little work hard and make sure it's good and connected there. Okay, we should be good now. Okay, so here is our center. Yeah, I like that. I like that a whole bunch. Okay, so let's see how these are going to work out. So if I come in here and I open up our little link, or our little, our link, and pop on one side of this. I want to get it closed up really well. Okay. Let's come in here and make sure he is all the way snug in there. That is so cute. Okay, so now let's connect this one here. And let's make sure we have some movement going on still. Okay, I want to make sure that when I'm connecting it here, I'm going straight down. So it needs to be right on the opposite side. So it's like this. Oh, that definitely has movement. Oh, that is so cute. Is that not so cute? Oh, that is so good. That is so good. I'm proud of myself. Oh, I love it. I love it. You know, sometimes I come up with some cool stuff. And this was all with purpose. I mean, when I saw on Beadbox Bargain's website, when I saw these, I was like, ooh, those match pretty well with these. And wouldn't that be a cool like strand if there was a focal and these were the like chain links that went to it? Yeah. Super cool. Okay, and this other side has that little bit of blue in it. It's okay. Doesn't matter to me which one shows because this also has just barely a little tinge of blue to it. Okay, so down here I'm going to want to make sure again I'm straight across. Get that guy closed up really well. Okay, so again, here we are with that more topaz-y color, that yellowy topaz-y color. And then this is a little more matte or dull as far as faded, like color-wise. Then we go back into that brighter color and then down to this. This is making me happy. And now I'm really glad I saved this one for the last because I think, who knows, I don't know, but it may be my favorite. Yep, that's where I want it to be. Love that for me. I love this for me. Oh, please tell me it's not going to end up being too long. Nope, I don't think so. I'm just going to want that connection to be super small. But, oh, so good. So good. Okay, let's do this other side. Same thing, just doing the same thing. Here we go, here's the last one. Okay, so I want to look and see what it says our length is for this. Because if it's too long, I'm going to figure out something else instead of this infinity in the center, just to shorten this up a tiny bit. Okay, so it looks pretty long to me. It just looks really long. It's long. It's long. It's long. I don't want to take out some of the beads. I could take this star out, or this like starburst out from the bottom. I could do that. Okay, so if I took the starburst out from the bottom, then if I shortened up this center, okay, if I didn't use the infinity, I'm doing everything because I want this to be mine. Okay, so if I did that, then, well, we would be closer. Okay, we'd be closer. We'd be at 7. That's still just too long. That's still just too long. Okay, well, I would have to take out this bottom link as well. So if I take out the bottom link, then it's like 6.5. Okay. So let's see. I was just excited about putting everything together. And then I'm like, wait a minute, it's gonna be a necklace. I mean, it could be a necklace, but that is not what we're doing here today, my friends. That's not what we're doing here today. Oh, yay. Okay, so first, if we did this, okay, so that'll shorten it some. Okay, so 6, right to that delica. It's still at 7. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Okay, so let's try this. Let me take off the infinity. I told you I didn't know for sure on this. I just knew what I was looking for, and it seemed to be perfect. And it is. Perfect. Yeah. Little extra. Okay, so let's put a small like jump ring or something on it. That'll be just fine. As long as that's mine and I can wear it. Because wait till you see what we're doing with these side strands. That's what's exciting too. So I want this to be my bracelet. Okay, so let's omit the infinities. Okay, we're going to omit those from the center. Let me get out little jump ring. Yeah, it comes down more. So just about maybe 6.5. I can deal with that. So if we're not going to use this in the bracelet, I'm going to keep that together and set aside for like an earring bash, because I'm thinking about doing an earring bash too, and I've never ever done an earring bash. Ever. Crazy, I know. Okay, so there's our center. And I do just love it so. Okay, so let's set it aside. Let's talk about what we want to do here for our strands. Now, I'm hoping, because it was fresh in my mind this morning, I'm hoping I remember what I wanted to do. And if not, if we fumble around just a little bit, please be patient with me, but we will get it and it is all good. So let's see. Let's bug one side of it. Okay, actually let's not bug it just yet. Because on this strand, what I know is, and kind of the surprise for you guys, is I can use this one, but I actually want to use this one. Let me test something real quick. I'm going to test if these small ones will hook on here. No, they won't. I need to use those big ones. Okay, deal. Not a problem. So what I'm wanting to do is I'm going to close this all the way up, these bigger infinities. Make sure it's fully closed, especially this one side here, all the way closed. It's at the very center. Okay. On each side of that, I'm wanting to do, I need to bring in our daisy spacers. I think I'm going to need more of these little guys. So hold on, I'll get some more. I think we're going to need more of those. And so these spacers are going to kind of snug this in on the strand. So I want one on each side. Okay. I'm going to move the strand, because now you already see what I'm going to be doing with that. Okay. I'm going to have this infinity that now is snugged up with these two little daisy spacers. It's going to come out like this and connect to our center focal. That way it keeps those strands in line, in tune, what I'm looking for. Okay. From here, I do want to get out, because I have some, here I have some 4mm and 4mm. This one's going to have a little bit of bead cap action, not too much. But I do think for what's going to be right in the center for the focal, I want a little bit of a brighter pop. Okay, so I'll pop in just a couple of those. So I'm going to do little baby bead cap going away. Okay, and then I'm going to pop this guy on the small side. That way it just kind of sits on there like so. Just perfect, perfect, perfect. So I'm going to pop one on the other side as well. That may be the only time we are using these. We'll see. But that's what I'm thinking, that it would be on both sides. These two strands are going to be identical to each other, the two side strands. So we're going to make one of them together, and then after we make one of them together, I'm going to knock out the other one, close them up at the ends, and then we'll come back, and finish. So here's where we are. I'm looking for this to happen. On the end of this, I do want to bring in these bead caps. So I want this bead cap to be nestling up to the bottom of that. And then I also want one immediately going away. Okay, so it's going to have that little bit of the spacing, right? And I want this bead cap snuggled up on this beautiful corrugated little spacer. Isn't that cute? Okay, so I'm going to put one on the other side as well. So that way it transforms that spacer from being just a bronze spacer to a little something something. And it also reminds me of those daisy spacers in the center. See that? I like it. I like it. I like it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and bead bug. We're going to work up one side, then we'll go to the other side. That way I know I've got my ducks in a row as well. Okay, so I'm wanting it to go like this. And then directly after that, I'm going to pop in one of these cubes. And these cubes are drilled from corner to corner. And so they are not going to set flat. They're going to set little edge to little edge. And I love it. I just love them. Oh, I love them. I love them so much. I haven't been using them, and that's not going to happen anymore. So I'm going to do a little daisy spacer, and in the middle, because I'm going to have two of these, in the middle, I'm going to bring in these little cubes. Okay, and I'm going to bead cap those little cubes. So I'm going to do a bead cap going away, snuggled up to that cube, and then a bead cap coming in on the back of it. So it's these little pops, and I'm really looking for that in this bracelet. Okay, and so then I'm going to put another one of these on and then grab another one of our cubes. And it is just fun. So you see the corner of the cube kind of nestles up into that little daisy spacer. So it snugs it all up in together. And I think it just looks amazing. I think it looks amazing. So then after this, I'm going to do a bead cap going away from this little cube because I'm wanting another spacer. Okay, so I'm going to pop on another one of these spacers, just like before, so you see what I'm doing here. Okay, and then I'm going to bead cap also the other side of it. But I'm not going to go into one of those drop beads now. Nope, I'm not. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn around and do a bead cap facing away. Okay, so it started here with the bead cap to and from. We're ending it with the bead cap to and from here. Right? So it's going to be kind of one of the same there. And I want to bring these in. And these little wavy guys are so much more fun than I thought they were. I didn't realize just how cool they were, and I'm pretty upset with myself that I hadn't been utilizing them. But I'm thankful I am now, especially for this project, because it's going to be great. Okay, so I'm going to bead cap the other side of that guy. I'm going to pop on one of our daisy spacers, and then I'm going to come right in with one of these little spacer guys. Okay, I'm going to put a daisy spacer on the other side of it. And I'm going to go ahead and just finish this out by doing another one of these, and then we'll take a closer look. Okay, so bead cap going away. We're going to do another one of these little wavy guys. Bead cap coming up from behind it. And we'll probably end up with a spacer or crimp tube or something at the end, but I want to check the sizing first. But here is that half. Right? Isn't that just so pretty? And I love the depth of this bronze versus this bronze. I just really, really like it. So let me come on the other side. I'm going to knock out the same little series We're going to get it measured. We're going to make sure that we are good on our sizing, how we want to end it, and then we'll move along accordingly from there. Okay, so I did not anticipate the length of this. I just did not. Okay, so let's see if this guy was connected here. Okay, what I'm looking at is about a half to 3/4 of an inch. So for 1/2 or 3/4 of an inch, what we could test out is I could do another one of these spacers and just maybe a cube bead, so I could get out some more cube beads. And then we can see what that length would look like. Let's go ahead and do that. So let's do another bead cap. We'll do one facing away. Pop on another one of these and bead cap it. Okay. And then from there, let's just pop on a cube. I can get more out. There's still plenty. And then we can't necessarily end it with a cube, so we would have to end it probably with a little daisy spacer. And that's going to put us, because I cut these at 7 inches, that's going to put us at the very tip end. Okay, so let me grab another bead bug. Let's do the same thing to the other side, and we'll see what that size looks like, and we'll go from there. Oh yeah, yeah. That'll be just right. That'll be just right. Okay, that's what I'll do. That's what I'll do. So this is what we're looking at. I'm going to make another one just like this for this side, and I'm going to go ahead and finish off those ends, and then we'll come back together and finish this all out. Yay! So here we are. What I decided to do as well, and I went ahead and did it just for timing purposes because I know this video is going to be so long, you guys, and I'm so sorry, but I made some dangles. I just really wanted some. And so here is what I put together for those little dangles. And then I have this, and I know it's gold, but for some reason it just keeps speaking to me like, hey, I'm supposed to dangle from this bracelet. So cute. And then this toggle. Gorgeous. Love that toggle. Okay. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to connect the center infinity symbol to the center of the bracelet. Okay. So let's go ahead and do that. That way the center is fixed. Actually, which way do I want to go with that? Let's just take this and attach it on. So that's where I'm going. I was overthinking in a weird way on that. Okay, so it still allows our spacing. Okay, so we have spacing between them. Make sure that that's nice and not only cinched, but not wonky looking. Okay, so there's that. We'll do the same thing on this other side. So when we come to this oversized infinity, pop that on, open. Okay, and it'll come on like that. Okay, just making sure everything's snug as a bug in a rug. I don't want anything falling off. Okay, so our centers are connected here. Okay, and the center strand is a little bit shorter than the outer strand. That's okay. Here's what I'm wanting to do. I'm going to pop on a little bit of chain. This is going to make sure we have fluid movement up here. Okay, it is also going to allow me to put just an extra little link of chain or two to that center one. Okay, to hold it where it needs to be. So for the center one, I'm thinking, so if I come here, I would connect up top. I would do 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I'm going to do 4 on that. Okay, 2 in the middle, and then 1 for each of the connections. 1 for the connection to this, and 1 for our connection going back to the bracelet. Oops. One, two, three, four. I was about to cut that 4th one. Cutting the 5th. I'm going to do 2 of those. 1 for each side. Cutting that 5th little guy right here. Okay. And then we'll talk about how many for our outer ones. But first, let's get this connected. So I come in here, open that up, pop the end one on. Make sure it's all the way closed. Okay, let's do the same thing down here. And all the while, we want to make sure that we are centered here when we're doing this, that we know those lengths. Okay. Flip him around a little bit here. Bottom one connecting. So we have a total of 5 on the center. Okay, so then it looks like this is across from this one. So then there would just be the 2, or maybe 1. I'm going to have 2 coming up from this. Okay, so I'm going to cut a total of 3. Okay, so I'll cut that twice. And let me, the connection. Nope. I need, instead, okay, let's omit chain. Okay. Let's omit chain. What about an infinity? Would it be the same distance? Because I'm going to have to put a little 3mm jump ring on the top of this, so I bet it will be. Okay, so let's figure that out. These are times when sometimes I'm like, you know what, maybe I just should have figured this out and not done the tutorial until I figured it all out. But at the same time, I mean, it could help. You're working through it with me. You know, maybe it'll keep you from thinking silly stuff or doing silly stuff and wasting time. We'll take whatever positive we can get out of it, my friends. Whatever positive. Okay, so let's open this up because this is going to have to go on the bottom of this because we're going to be linking to a ring. That ring is going to link to, yeah, that doesn't look bad either. And even if that ring ends up being able to be opened, I still want the opportunity really for opening, but I guess it wouldn't matter, right? I don't know. We're just going to see how this goes. But this helps either way because I was thinking maybe I should have cut one more link. One more length of link. Okay, so now we have that extra little length on there. Okay, let's just try out these little infinities here. Yep, Squirt's awake. Okay, I'm going to be quick here. infinities. If I'm talking quieter, I'm sorry. I'm getting pretty tired. But I will not rest until I get this done. I want to see this done so bad. I'm super excited about this. Okay, make another infinity and then we should be good to connect. So I'll come in here. I need this facing down or opened at the bottom, pointing it to the back, all the way up there against that. He was a little wonky. Doable though. Hold on. Yep, he'll work. Yep, he'll work. Ooh. Okay, where's our ring? So this is definitely going to be too big for me. I know exactly who it's going to go to though, and she will be thrilled. Thrilled. But, I want all of them, all to myself. I'm going to connect them and I'm going to look at the center after that and see what that looks like. Okay. Let's just see. Oh, that's opened. That gives plenty of area here and movement. Okay, now if I come down here, so that bead's a little bit squished, but I don't know. I think I'm still okay with it. Let's knock out our dangles real quick and then we'll go to the other side. That way I can just then close it up and say, yay, we did it. Okay, first grab one of these. If not, then I'll be like, okay, I'll make the dangles afterwards. I'm tired. I am not going to do that. Okay, and then I'm going to connect this to his friend. All right, we'll get that toggle on and then I do believe we are good. Okay, so then we're going to use this, and we're going to grab the top of this one, pop on our leaf, and we're going to attach that onto the heart itself from this side. Actually, let me move it. Okay. I think that's going to be super cute. Totally super cute. Look at that, of course. Oh, seriously. Okay, let's put this ring on, put the toggle bar on, and we have us a 5th bracelet. And then that final one. Then we can pop on our beautiful little toggle bar here. And just like that, we can say that yes, in fact we did. Yes, we did make all 6 of those bracelets that day. And all was well in the neighborhood. So looky here, okay? Looky here. Okay, first, look at the toggle. That is just too cute. Okay, and then we come down through that bracelet. I don't know, maybe I should be doing bracelet selling kits or bracelet kits for you to make your own bracelets, because, you know, I'm not a big fan of tooting my own horn, but I'm tooting this horn. This is beautiful. Beautiful. Happiness. So, I hope you enjoyed being here. I hope you enjoyed this process. I hope you had fun being here. Maybe you learned something from one of my little hookups or hiccups, or, you know, whatever the case is. Either way, the fact that you're here makes me super happy. I love having you here with me. I appreciate you being here with me. Hey, if you like this video, see if you have a little button down there where you can hype the video. That's going to be big news coming here in YouTube. That hype is going to help any of your content creators that you like. So you get 3 of them a week. Click that hype button, and until I see you back here, I hope your day is fantastic. Bye for now.